Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second day of the NACL promotion tournament. Of course, it's just me for the moment. I'll have Mazel joining me very shortly. I'm Beatdown Boulevard, of course, and we have our first couple of best of fives going on today to find out who two of our three teams are going to be for promoting into the NACL. So we got an exciting day of games ahead of us here. It's going to be really great. I know Lennon is really excited to come in and join me. But yeah, we got a lot of exciting things going on right now. And I think soon we're probably going to be able to talk about the schedule and what's going on today. I know the most exciting thing so far is going to be... Okay, I don't have to do this anymore. Mazel is here. Thank God. Get in here, bro.
I don't know what happened because we were literally talking in the call together.
Like a second before live.
I have no idea what happened. But anyways, I'm here.
He's here. Thank God.
Yeah, I'll take over duties for you, Beatdown. I'm Mazel. I'm joined by Beatdown. It's going to be a great time. We're in the promo relegation tournament for NACL split number 2. And today is the day that we give 2 tickets to that NACL summer time shindig, I guess, that we have going on with an LTA spot at the end. It's just a little party that we're going to have. But it's really incredible that today is the day we get it. We have 2 best of 5s going on concurrently, and that means we're only be covering one of them, but we will have updates for the other one as we go through it. But if you're missing out on any of that action, if you're missing out on any of that, make sure you go check out our socials. They will be hovering in the top left of your screen here at some point in the near future because, you know, there's a lot of action on the table today. We had some banger best of 3s yesterday, maybe one a little bit more so than the other one, but that does not stop the action that we have going on for the next couple days. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket and take a look at that action that we have going on in that near future. Speaking of today, what we will be covering is AMI versus Citadel for a spot in split number 2 NACL. Meanwhile, concurrently, like I was talking about, Polestar will be taking on Dorado Gaming for that second spot on the day. Now you may be wondering, oh, that should be everything, right? But if you're new here, then you don't know. There's a third spot for the first time in promo history. There's going to be another one. We have that lower bracket run coming through a little bit later on, and we'll see who that final addition to split 2 is.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, it is going to be our 2 bottom teams from the NACL playing to keep their spot going into Split 2 later on this summer. It's going to be pretty important there, I think, for either one of them. The nice thing, though, Lennon, is, of course, even if you don't make it here and qualify today, there is still going to be one final spot left. But it is going to be a little more difficult because you're going to be competing with 4 teams for that one spot.
And we get to actually kick off some best of 5s here. I know there's still best of 3s in the lower bracket.
Yeah.
But best of 5s here today, I know I'm really excited for. The full Fearless best of 5s is where we really get to the nitty gritty here. Speaking of the day, let's go ahead and talk about our schedule. It will be AMI versus Citadel. A very tough situation for AMI. They definitely petered out in the end of the regular season. But for a lot of it, they were giving some of the big teams a little bit of a run for their money. Beatdown.
Yeah, they certainly have been. I think the most exciting thing, too, for me is Citadel's a team, if you look at them, a lot of names that we recognize as, you know, fans and viewers of the Tier 2 space. And a team that, if we were looking at the last promotion tournament to kind of kick off NACL Split 1, Citadel were a team where a lot of us believed that they were almost guaranteed to make it. But instead, they get eliminated by Tempest Gaming, who later became Conviction. And, you know, considering the run Conviction ended up going on, it definitely makes a lot more sense, especially looking more recently. But now Citadel, they're going for that second round, and I think their chances are pretty good.
Yeah, hey, if you speak to the players and stuff, a lot of confidence there. We'll talk about them here in just a little bit, though, because we have to check back in with Apex Mission Impossible. They are a team, again, I had foreshadowed to them, being a little bit of a dark horse in a lot of that regular season towards the end, obviously not finding the promise they wanted, ending up in the promo tournament themselves, but still a team that has been working towards that. I talked to Paucus and really trying to figure out what was going on between now and that time that they were done, and they said they haven't stopped. They had like 3 or 4 days of breaks, and Paucus says we're ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the attitude you need. It's really important, especially considering the fact that this tournament is it's now or never, Mazel. Even though you still have a second life today, really important for these guys to be able to kind of get it together. I know when you spoke to them over on the AMI camp, they even mentioned how something they learned was that, you know, they have to keep playing, they have to keep grinding. And I think that's something we pushed a lot for both of our bottom teams towards the back half of the split. going into this tournament, expecting that,
Yeah.
okay, even if you aren't going to make it out, that improvement mindset is so important so that you can come back.
I mean, it's been a long time since they had to play the competitive nature of games, right? And trying to keep
True.
that competitive edge, trying to keep that number, because the other teams were playing in OQs, right? Citadel is looking like a monster. So whatever AMI comes out with, it needs to be clean. It needs to be calculated, because this Citadel team, like I said already, they are a beast to be reckoned with, and I think they're here to prove a point this time around.
Oh, certainly. Especially you have players like Bradley, Kenvy, who have been trying really hard to win their way back up into Tier 2 after some unfortunate goings. I mean, Instinct, Philip, Diamond, these are all players top to bottom who have been at that Tier 2 level for many years now. So that's why, again, where we show a lot of confidence for this team. It's just you look at who these players are and what they've been able to accomplish in the past.
Yeah. And I know a big focus for the cast yesterday was the bot lane. I think it paid off beautifully. I think the factor of how Kenvy and Bradley were kind of combining a lot was really interesting too. But a lot of the spotlight was on Instinct and Diamond, and I think tonight it will be a lot of the same. And I know that on the other side, I talk about AMI while we're talking about CTG a little bit, but they have a little bit of confidence in their bot lane themselves. And Pocus was saying, happy Baz, happy lane. We'll see if that is going to come to fruition here for them against a bot lane duo who seems to be playing with their food a little bit.
Yeah, I think that confidence is going to be really important because, Instinct and Diamond, they have been playing really well. And I think they're definitely going to be that bot lane team to beat in this tournament, and who I'm sure will perform very well at NACL should they win here today.
Yeah, but the lesson we instilled from the broadcast yesterday was don't let Instinct pick Kalista, which
yeah, I think
it's pretty good, pretty good rule.
Good advice.
Pretty good rule. I will also say, Diamond, I was playing with their food because literally Diamond said in the interview, he's like, he only picked Rumble because he felt the difference in the support force. And he wanted to flex his muscles a little bit. I don't know if they're going to take those risks today, because I think today needs to be a day of lock-in. I mean, yes, you have that second life if you falter. That's not the goal for this Citadel team, and he said himself he doesn't lose to a bottom place NACL team. He said 8th place team, AMI were technically 7th, so changing that up a little bit, but it really is interesting to think about the pressure going into this series, the fact that there is an LTA slot on the back end of split number 2 for the better performing teams.
Yeah, it's a great point too, and that's why something we mentioned, even though split 1 was exciting, we saw a lot of great play. Split 2 is what it's all about, Mazel. That's why it's so important for these teams if they ever want that hope of taking Disguise's spot away from them at the end of the year. It's gonna have to start right here, right now, Mazel.
It is indeed. Has to start where it begins, I guess, here in the promo tournament. And again, faltering that last, but they would have loved, I know Citadel as a whole, all the players would have loved to have that extra experience in an ACL, going through a whole split of the regular season that AMI had. And now they're going to try to do that in split number 2. But AMI, I will say, like, they might have been one of the last place teams in NACL. There might not be a lot of community confidence behind them, but I think this is a team that you always have to be watching out for. If you remember through the regular season, there were so many times that they were taking games off of top teams in wild fashions. A lot led through, Baz having big performances, but particularly when Low Jazz and Phi Mini are on one, they can look like a really strong mid-jungle duo. So I think you can't be slouching on AMI, especially with all the background, scrims and things that they've been trying to work through getting to this point. They've had a long break.
They have, and I'm sure they've used it well alongside Pulsar, who are playing in that other match concurrently, as you pointed out. So it's going to be really exciting. Again, both of these teams still have another life if they lose today, but the competition gets infinitely stiffer because you have a chance to compete with one team for a spot now, but you lose this series, you're competing with 4 teams all of a sudden to be able to take it.
It's a lot. Well, let's take a look at the predictions here and see where everybody's lying out here for this series itself, because I think it's a little bit one-sided. And I'm just going to say, we haven't always been the most consistent in our right picks when we all choose the same thing.
That's true.
Just throwing that out.
Yeah. I think that's very reasonable. Yeah. I wasn't with you until you said when we all agreed. It's true. Winthrop University have definitely taught us a lesson on that more than one time, but I think on this time, I think we're all probably going to be right in this one, especially with how good Citadel Gaming looked yesterday. I'm calling my shot. I think we're right. I mean, we all did, right? We all voted Citadel. You know what I mean? Like, I think we'll be good. You look at this talent top to bottom, you look how well they've been playing, how well they played yesterday, and I think that really just tells us all we need to know. AMI, I think, are going to have to pull a hell of a rabbit out of a hat.
Hey, maybe they have found a bunch of rabbits. Maybe they're a bunch of
Maybe
rabbit
they
farmers
did.
now. Wolf and rabbit's clothing.
Oh, yeah. Could be sheep
their
herders.
mascot is like
wolf,
a wolf.
sheep
Right?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
their
yeah.
icon. You know, see,
Maybe
look,
there's
it's right there.
Yeah, maybe there's like a wolf and sheep clothing joke. We'll work on it while we're casting.
We'll work. We'll dissect that one for sure.
Yeah.
Game 1 though, Apex Mission Impossible would be choosing blue side as they did get the choice in it being the higher seed, and I think that's going to pay off for them. Obviously, it's a best of 5. If we go off tradition, blue side has had a ridiculous win percentage in competitive play at the highest levels, but that changes a little bit when you get to the tier 2, tier 3 levels. And comfort and kind of counter picks become a little bit more the name of the game, but it means that Apex Mission Impossible can really lead off with the best foot, get a bunch of comfort for themselves, and try to figure out what's going to work for them against Citadel.
Yeah, that really is the hope that they're going to be able to start this one off on the right foot. I've heard Cubby say, and I do tend to agree, that red side becomes a little more favorable later on into Fearless Draft, because with more champions out of the pool, certain counter picks or certain champions just look so much better. So having that option to answer, I think, is going to be really important if the series happens to go late. But again, it is best of 5, so at the very least 3 games are going to be played today, which means we have so much more. At least 3. We could see more. You know me, Lennon. I'm always hoping for 5, and I would love to see it here today too.
Yeah, I think especially for a season that has so much weight in it, I want to see our teams get pushed to the very brink and have all that drama, because that's how we build it. But it is really important for the team today, because again, this is their ticket in, and also for Citadel, right? It's making up on that kind of failure of that last qualifier tournament itself. So a lot on the line for both sides. I know AMI feeling pretty confident though, and talking a little bit about that and going back to that conversation with Focus, it's awesome to me to hear that kind of drive, hear that kind of mentality moving forward for AMI after what was a pretty hard split to go through in the end. There were, again, a couple of those bright moments, but it's all about the grind. It's all about trying to figure out how to be a better player, how to be better on and off the Rift. And I hope we get to see the culmination of a lot of that work today.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. I think both of these teams definitely been putting a lot of work. It'd be a big deal for Apex Mission Impossible to win their way back into the league. Finishing bottom 2, it feels good. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we're peak doubters right now, and it would be a big deal for them, I'm sure, to be able to get that win, qualify immediately, not have to play through that lower bracket, and then they can just immediately focus on Split 2 and improving towards that goal.
AMI, I know you're probably not listening because you're getting ready for a series right now, but if you win,
crazy.
Call us out just like Diamond called out Hawk yesterday. That was one of the funniest on broadcast moments I've ever seen.
Oh, he did? Whoa, I actually didn't watch that interview.
Oh, you got it. It was hilarious. I love you, Hawk. Thank you for the moment. Let's talk a little bit about this setup for AMI, because they will be on the blue side. Again, everybody's doubting them to some extent. They have a lot of faith in themselves. Will they prove us all wrong? It starts here in game number 1 against Citadel. They immediately ban away the Jace. I expect to see that Callista ban as well, unless they really want to pick something like that. My favorite pick for Baz, if we're talking about happy Baz, happy lane.
Yeah, what is it?
It's the Jin, baby. It's the Jin. It's not going to be first pick, but I want to see some utility from Baz.
You sure it's Happy Baz and not Happy Lennon when you're talking about the Jin pick?
Why not both?
True. Yeah, very true. Yeah. All right, fair enough. We'll see. It's interesting because we are on a patch change. We are currently on 25-12. So there are a couple of noticeable changes, but I think a lot of the really highly coveted champions really haven't changed. I mean, these teams clearly seem to agree. Both Vi, Talia were adjusted and nerfed respectively, and still getting that respect.
A lot of that setup potential in the fights. The Nautilus is also going to be a ban over towards Diamond, taking away some of that 2v2 lane pressure potentially there. And that might be signifying, we'll see what the picks end up being, but AMI might play a little bit more of a back-footed bot lane and try to succeed elsewhere, which again, when we talked about it, the combination between Fine Mini and Low Jazz will be super important. Even if the consistency isn't always there, the Varus is going to be banned away, so taking away a little bit of that comfort utility in the bot lane already.
That's right, makes sense. So now, first pick, a lot of good stuff is still up and available, and immediately they're going to put Baz on something strong like Dilution. Still have a lot of options too. Could go the Nami way, which is becoming a little more popular. Could still go Milio. depending on what they might be looking for.
This would be teeing off a comp that looked really good for Citadel yesterday, or at least it looked good in their series beforehand, going through the qualifiers. But giving a lot of onus to Kenvi and giving him a lot of that forward aggression for Citadel would be very nice, especially against a very low range AD and Lucian if you're going to be relying on him a lot heavily. And they will go with the Pantheon.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I mean, for Kenvi, I think some of the best we've ever seen from him is when he's playing for a team that's really able to play to him. Even when he played in the NACL for Supernova, he looked pretty good then. Before he got into the LTA North, he was in a similar situation as well. I think part of the tragedy there was that the team wasn't really able to set him up for success, as happens from time to time with
He's talked
rookies.
about it. He's talked about it a lot. He says he did not get to play his game. Next time he makes it, he wants to play his game. So beware. Yeah,
that's where it's gonna start. Like, he wants to get back to the LTA North. He's gonna be doing it the long way from qualifiers to NACL to LTA.
The longest way, some would say.
Quite literally the longest path possible. Yes.
He's got to get the steps in. As
True.
We all do. The Orianna is going to be big. You got a mini shockwave delivery system there with the Pantheon. Really good combinations there, and it's kind of combating that duo that I was really talking about for AMI. And we'll see what they want to go with here, or if we're going to just already get that kind of 2v2 lock-in for Apex Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I think right away you're probably just going to want to pick that support here, and it's looking like Nami is what they're leaning towards. especially with the all-in that's already kind of showing from Citadel. I think that tidal wave will be really nice to kind of make space for the team. So that makes sense. And at this point, I
really
think
like the Emilio as of right. Maybe I'm just like a 2025 baby, right? Like I just really like the new age combo. Because Nami is a classic, but we'll see if it does end up getting pulled off. A little bit more room for error there with the Nami, so really looking for Focus to show up on the day. And we'll see if Mini gets a comfort for him before we go into the second phase.
Yeah, I think picking mid here makes a lot of sense because Orianna is showing. And it's going to be, I think, just a pretty safe scaling pick there in the mid lane. It is a little, ganking him is a little, I don't want to say more difficult, but a little different because you still have that gravity field to play with. It does give that bit of safety. Part of why Victor is able to have a pretty easier time in lane than most mages.
Yeah, it's though something that I know 5-Minute will be very comfortable on, which I think at this point might be just the name of the game for AMI. Although they're giving themselves a little bit of a high-risk, high-reward bot lane. I look for the consistency in the rest of the map to really tie that together here. Now we're looking at Citadel's final pick in the first phase. It's the Rumble! Oh, no! If it's not Rumble top, it could be. He's a damn good Rumble. But we heard Diamond say yesterday the reason why he picks Rumble is because he feels there's a support diff. And maybe he's feeling confident today. Yeah, that will be very interesting. I wonder if AMI will go for that Kalista ban now to deny that particular combo that we saw yesterday. I think regardless of where that Rumble's going, they're probably going to be looking to get rid of that as well. And conversely, Citadel trying to just pinch out that jungle pool a little bit, remove some facilitating angles for low jazz. Yeah, I could see some more bans going that way. I do really like the Xin Zhao towards low jazz. I think that was one of his more consistent picks in the regular season of NACL Split number 1. The Kalista is going to be the primary ban there, as Citadel will be holding that one for a later date for themselves, at least, since it won't be available in game number 1. And the Rise is going to be the final ban by Citadel. Okay, so it is Rumble top. We do know Decoy is willing to play that matchup, so I guess that gives us pretty much all the information that we need on that front. So Diamond, he still hasn't picked his champion yet. He's not going to get it. He's not going to get it. Yeah, not this time. Who knows? The next series, if they lose today in that lower bracket, the Rumble Diamond, it's always lurking. That's the thing, waiting. It's always lurking. Yes. The Lulu is going to be the ban, so maybe they're playing with maybe a Lulu hyper carry composition, thinking of that. But now we got to see what Instinct's going to lock in. Is it going to be the kind of support counter pick here, even though they've known Nami is going to be down there for a long time? Or what is Instinct going to pick? Yeah, I'm kind of curious what they're looking for there on the last pick, since they've kind of already... there isn't really much left for them to pick other than bot lane. So it is Caitlyn. He's going to give you that bit of a range advantage. I wonder if they're going to go for Kate Lux. I mean, you have a lot of CC already to work with and set up with the Pantheon.
So they want to go for something really lane dominant. It's not quite a rumble, but I think that's another way for Diamond to just kind of flex a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit down the same alley.
Yeah.
That Lucian Caitlyn matchup is so brutal. I think there is a little bit of wiggle room with the kind of Nami combination. If you can kind of keep Caitlyn off that range, but the range advantage is just so deadly in the 2v2, and especially because it's Apex Mission Impossible who really wanted to pick into this 2v2 and get some strength for themselves. Now they're going to go with the Ornn on the other side of the map, so serious scaling and even more reliance on Baz and Pocus.
Yeah, now it's just making me think, what could LoJazz look to pick up here? Because there's already a lot of scaling and team fighting here, but I think I need to see some ability to do something in this early game. Lucian, Nami, I mean, you're playing into the Caitlyn. It's probably going to be an unfavorable support matchup too, so bot lane is going to be tough. Mid lane might be tough. All right, I actually really like J4 just because when you're looking against champs like Rumble, Caitlyn, Orianna, no like true movement abilities, no dashes, blinks, or anything like that, so are pretty susceptible to the flash. Flag and drag will most likely have to flash it.
I think J4 is really OP right now. So I really am glad that they're taking advantage of that. It's going to be a little bit of a weird combination. I really want to see how they kind of tee off a lot of these engages, but you get your wish beat down as it's another spicy one. It's going to be the Caitlyn Lux combination for Citadel.
Oh, that's kind of bold to pick that right in the face of J4, I won't lie. But, you know, you increase the number of targets. You can only flag and drag like one or two of you, depending on where you're standing. So there's something there. It does give you a really strong
up
bot
for like
lane.
a 5-man flag and drag.
I would be very upset and have a lot of questions for Citadel if that happens. But overall, I think you have a lot of lane advantages to work with here for Citadel, and I think that's going to give Kenvi an opportunity to play really aggressive. I think the way they've been playing, they're going to be able to support him as well. Again, that's when Kenvi plays his best game. And AMI, they're going to really need to keep this game slow. I think LoJazz is going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting to minimize his own losses, his team's losses, so they can get to the point where Victor's online, Ornn is online, and Lucian, Nami are at that point where they can do, he has RFC and they can do that crazy burst rate from like 1,000 units away.
There is a lot of possibilities with Lucian later game. His burst damage is not one to scoff at, and can still have that kind of big game potential, but speaking of big game killers, Caitlyn in the later parts of the game is terrifying against a kind of composition that can't really move around. We're getting to game one of this best of 5. Winner of this series is locked in for NACL split number 2, where at the end of summer, an LTA spot will be on the line at LTA North against DSG. You know that's weighing in the minds of every player on the Rift right now. Can AMI defend their spot, get back into ACL, or Citadel make good on the catastrophe that was qualifiers number 1? Game 1 starting off now.
Yeah, well said, Lennon, and now we're already seeing a little bit of early game action here. No summoners flown, but everyone's just trying to get that early vision down, and they're fighting hard for it.
Fight. Let's go. This is how I love my promos. Unfortunately, LoJazz does lose like half of them. He does come out with way worse for it, which is a little bit unfortunate. Should be fine, though.
Yeah, he's a jungler. They, you know, they're going to be able to heal.
He's a jungler. He's fine. Oh, that's a greedy back.
Oh, it is. I think at this point, Bradley is probably stuck here, so it does give a bit of a health advantage there for FiMini, and I think, are they really just going to win this war of attrition? And it looks like FiMini will finally get that ward down, and no response ward there. AMI really brute forced that one, but it worked out.
All right, this is what I'm looking at, though. This is where all eyes are going to be. All the other parts of the game, they're all scaling. It's all about LoJazz, Kenvi, and this bot lane for the early game. Who will get present in the 2v2? Right now, LoJazz is starting on bot. Go to top. Kenvi is heading down towards his bot lane. So you might see a little bit of differentiation in the clear paths of both junglers.
That's right. Going to end up very likely on opposite sides of the map here, unless LoJazz wants to do something a little fancy with it. But otherwise, so far these early lanes kind of going how we can expect. A little bit of contention there in that bot lane, but overall I expect Instinct and Diamond to be able to get most of the push there. Now LoJazz is actually using that information and the knowledge that there was no ward in response to take away the Gromp from Kenvi. Could even go for the blue buff if you really wanted to. Again, there's no knowledge of this is happening for the side of Citadel.
It's actually so wild. I love this for low jazz. There's going to be the ping coming down from Kenvi. It will just be the crop of the gank. He's going to fight it. They were pressed so heavily. They knew they were winning the 2v2. Instinct steps up. They realize what's coming. And it's a man with a giant sword. First blood for AMI. As the wolves start howling in the distance, AMI will strike first.
Yeah, again, just the big payoff there from how AMI traded so much health to get that Raptor ward and guard their own Raptors at the same time. And it leads into a camp steal, it leads into a kill, and a good advantage there
Decoy.
to start it off.
I think Decoy has unfortunately succumbed to what is called alcove gaming. He will not go the full distance with it. He won't fall. He does survive, but Phil definitely has pressure in this lane.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you know, it happens. Getting hit by overheat rumble auto attacks feels really bad. And we're going to watch this one again. You can see the moment, too, that Baz and Focus realize, oh, yeah, like, our jungler's coming. Let's just trade aggressively. And there's no way to stop this kill. I respect the Instinct holding on to his flash because, like, Lennon, when I say 0% chance of anything happening, I really mean it.
100%. Well, 0 or 100%, whichever one. You can take your pick.
Yeah.
It is a situation where that early tempo can be very strong. And I was talking so much about how the Caitlyn Lucian lane is such a problem, and it still will be. But if you can start getting this gank, I mean, you're always going to have push seemingly as this Caitlyn Lux. And so there will always be a potential for Lojaz to get his fingers in there and figure out the better end of it. And so far it has.
Yeah, that's right. And this has been a strength, kind of like you're alluding to with AMI. I remember there were some people calling this the year of Lojaz.
Yep.
And really hyping up what he was going to be able to do. And even though it didn't quite work out for AMI, some of their successes were off the back of some of the early games he was able to facilitate. And I feel like this is just kind of that perfect building block into what has worked for them so far in some of their wins, few that they may be in Split 1.
And again, you have to remember the good times, not only the bad times for AMI, because there was a lot of series that they were, even in series that ended up 2-0 against top teams, like they would be winning for like the first 15, 20 minutes of every single one of their games, it felt like. And then there were just macro decisions that ended up claiming their own lives a lot of the time. So it's about seeing what that growth has led out to. Have they been able to make those better mid to late game decision calls?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question between our bottom two teams coming from NACL, AMI, and Polestar. That improvement mindset, again, so important to be able to win their way back into the league. And AMI, so far, it's looking pretty good for them, but they have to do a lot more than that to be able to get the win. And now, Kenvi doing a little work to get a gank off here in the bot side. Diamond sweeping for him, so could happen.
They're going to push up here. They got the gank. The counter gank is here, though. Kenvi a little bit worried to go into this one here. The flag and drag is going to be used. That bubble is going to hit onto Kenvi, but now Lojaz in trouble, and those sniper shots are hitting Bez. He's going to have to use his dash. Still has his flash as well. Pocus still holding on to his. Isn't going to use it. The light binding is going to connect with a little bit of damage on the back end of it, but that is CTG at least getting a response.
Yeah, and this is a pretty brutal spot. Instinct and Diamond, they have a chance to do something kind of brutal by holding that wave there. Could actually give Kenvi a chance to come again if he wants to. But it's looking like instead, he may have an interest in joining mid lane. Mini is low, Mini is flashless. But I think he is playing respectfully enough that he's just going to go back to his jungle.
It's a really good play decision from Citadel, especially Kenvi waiting in that bush. And AMI unsuspecting, but they do get push here in the bot side. Dragon is up, and we have a grub spawn at about a minute and a half. See if they want to use some of this presence, get that dragon going for themselves. An early Infernal Dragon would be nice.
It would be, especially for a team like AMI that is kind of leaning more the scaling route with the Ornn, with the Victor, even Lucian Nami in a way, being quite strong later on into the game for burst combos. Being able to get even one early Drake uncontested without sacrificing too much, it feels really good, Mazel, because then you don't have to worry about your opponent that's stronger early being able to use that power to sack an early Drake soul before you come online. So far, first 7 minutes of the game for AMI have been pretty nice.
So far, so good. A little bit of trade back and forth. Now, a little bit of a lead for Citadel, but we'll get the resets coming out for the bot lane of AMI. They might be looking to lane swap Areno to get up for those grubs, as they're going to try to use some of that presence here. We'll see if they do end up adapting that. The redeploy from Citadel was towards bot side. You see a little bit of a finicky move here from AMI. It does look like they're going to be going for the grubs. Oh, Grand Starfall mid lane by Mini, unsuspecting. The combo's there.
Shockwave.
Doesn't even need the delivery system. Delivers the blow himself. Bradley and Kenby combine for CTG's second kill.
Yeah, really nice catch out there. Again, monitoring that flash timer on the Victor, recognizing that you had to play onto it, and that ball delivery system comes in very clutch. As this mid-jungle duo there, and Kenby and Bradley syncing up, as you say, is going to give them an advantage that they probably won't use to go for that grub, because while AMI have rotated their bot lane, Citadel have not. I think they're okay with this situation here, because I don't think the players on AMI are going to have very many opportunities, except for these 1v2 situations to hit turrets. So
yeah.
they want to drop the grubs and just keep Instinct and Diamond in the 2v1, allow Caitlyn to get plates. That actually does seem worth it.
Oh god, Decoy just flashed bot side. There's a lot of problems down there as well. Those plates are just going to start peeling off like a banana. And CTG are going to eat all that protein down there. This bot lane is going to be terrifying after those first items start coming through.
Yeah, that's right. And now Instinct, even though he ended up following earlier on, is going to be able to get accelerated on the Caitlyn. You can see them knocking down multiple plates already, to the point that Baz and Poke is already looking to respond here and come back. But damage is done. I think Instinct will have his first item too, so it's going to be a really big spike.
Ooh, it was close.
Oh, close.
I'm sure he has a little bit of gold left in. But doing a little bit of a check-in across the map, I mean, it is honestly really good objective control so far from AMI. Full objective control, if you will.
True.
The terrifying part, the terrifying part is that everybody is losing in their lane matchups.
Yeah.
Which can be tough when you're trying to build something in this mid game, but I really want to see how AMI hold on, because again, you've mentioned so many times their scaling is good. They need a little bit of a bridge, and they're trying to build that.
Yeah, I mean, Low Jazz is kind of that bridge, and while that first bot lane, that play that led to First Blood was a success, we haven't seen very much success after that, as that's AMI's only kill. So I need to see a little more activity. It's good that they're stacking objectives, even if they're behind 1.4K. I don't think that's that big of a deal, all things considered, because they're not really dying excessively. If you look at farm, the only big deficit there is in top lane. Philip is way ahead of Decoy there, but as long as Decoy's collecting experience, even that is kind of all right, because you know those later levels of Ornn, we're able to get those masterwork items, is still huge.
It really is. Baz and Focus, they're on vision here. They will back off. They see Kenby clearing that ward right above them. There's a gank in mid lane happening. Low Jazz trying to find the combo, gets the flash pull, and now Bradley trying to make it up, but the Grand Starfall's here, and Kenby turning it right back around. There is the kill going over on to Bradley, though, but Low Jazz should just go down. The feats of warfare have been claimed, and Kenby, he's fueled himself. He's got the Sundered Sky. He's so damn strong already. He's going to take about half his health, though. 5 Mini trying to get the minions pushing into the turret. And that will be a response, a third kill for Kenby, but there was a return for AMI.
Yeah, it is a 1-for-1, and all things considered, even is fine right now, especially considering Citadel on the bot side are still winning out in the plate war. Instinct is ahead in CS. They're still able to pressure Baz and Pocus under the turret and continue getting further ahead. And Citadel Gaming, I mean, they need to keep this pace. They don't want to get outscaled later on, but so far it's looking all right.
A little bit of a 2,000 gold lead, 11.5 minutes in, but now trying to re-up on some of that gold for AMI. Going to get the flash out of Diamond, waiting for Instinct flash. He tries to sidestep, is going to flash out of the bubble, might still die. Don't think he has the 90 caliber net still, is going to burn the barrier.
Wow.
And it's not going to be enough to poke from Low Jazz. He was waiting to bring down the standard to get the kill, but he can't get in distance. Ace in the hole is going to go right back as a little bit of an angry cry from Instinct.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about sending a message, Lennon. And wow, it took them everything to be able to live that one. Instinct lived with 60 HP in that exchange. And as the fact that Diamond got to hold that wave is nice. The fact that Instinct walks away with his life is even nicer. So not much really gained there from AMI, except the flash timer they can abuse.
Now we get a potential setup around the Dragon. Still hovering around that 2,000 deficit. We're looking at item spikes. First items have come online for Low Jazz, for Baz, and by many. They're going to take the bite here. Chaos Storm's coming in. It's doing work. It's not the Hot Pot special, but it's something. Can be getting a little bit low, but Low Jazz has already fallen, so the Dragon is completely off the table for AMI.
Still, blinking health bars mean I think it's off the table for Citadel as well. Low Jazz is going to be up in 10 seconds. Not enough time for Kenvi to either back or jungle privilege his way up to good health. So ends up being not the biggest loss there for AMI, but they still lose Low Jazz in the process. So it's more gold over to this Pantheon, who's sitting at 4-0, by the way, and who's basically almost the entirety of this gold lead that Citadel are working with right now. He's very strong.
Where they put a lot of resources in the end, and you know, it's
That's
so
Kenby's
funny
game.
what we were talking about, beforehand. You know, want to play his game, want to play how he plays, and there is not a better signifier than this game right here. A lot of support from the team around him, but he has been the one making the decisions and leading the charge in a lot of that. They will take their first Dragon, evening up the Dragon score and finally getting their first neutral objective. Still a hefty lead for such an early game for Citadel.
Yeah, so it's kind of an awkward timer there. Low Jazz was looking for the lane gank, but while he was there, a Dragon ends up getting taken. So it did allow Baz and Focus to get a wave in. Again, AMI not too broken up about Drake stacking, considering they got the first one. But yeah, now Citadel are starting to stack up. Soul is something they're going to want to be playing for, and they're the ones who want to accelerate this game and keep using these strengths and advantages they have to be able to do so. And now the next thing to look forward to really is that Otacon, as we now know it's spawning on the bot side.
A little bit of momentum being seeped out. CTG taking a little bit of a back flip here, but there is still the Rift Herald to think about as the next big ticking point for them. The Collector has been completed for Instinct as well. So going for that kind of lethality style build. Equalizer is going to be used. He might actually just get the one-tap combo. Doesn't end up killing Philip, and now Kenby's here to respond. That slow is so drastic. And now Decoy trying to make his way out. Kenby gets him in the end with the flash Q. That's dirty, Kenby.
Yeah, he's wasted no time. He's going to go ahead and secure that kill, while bot side, Baz Focus able to get some damage done. What really matters, though, is that Kenby showed himself topside. Low Jazz, he does have a bit of an opportunity, but the window is closing because Kenby still has the Grand Starfall, and
okay.
I think we lost.
Yep. He's going to get the double hit. As now Focus coming in with the double tidal wave, too, and here comes the 5-mini combo. A double kill for him. Kenby's in a 1v4. The shutdown goes over. Go ahead and give him a triple kill. 5-mini.
Oh, boy, we got a little too hyped up there as Citadel, and they lost that entire gold lead at the drop of a hat, Mazel. It is now up to nothing as first brick is going over to AMI. 3 kills taken down in the process, and so many sweet Victor bucks for 5-mini.
I mean, that was almost 3,000 gold ripped away from CTG.
Yeah. First of all, that Nami W into heal is insane. Low Jazz gained like half his health bar, which allowed him to stall out for the rest of the team to end up making it to this. Shout out to 5-mini for getting that angle for the first look, being able to pick up those kills, now sitting on the red buff, and is very accelerated.
That's changes things a little bit in this mid-game. This power of the J4 plus the Lucian Nami really propelling them forward, trying to get 5-mini to 2-3 items now. And after getting all those shutdowns, after getting all that gold, he's going to be awfully close.
Yeah. I think he's building a Shadow Flame too, so nobody here really building. Oh, hold on.
Low Jazz a little bit caught there.
Will
and
they?
Immediately
Okay,
feeling the rebuttal from CTG. Meanwhile, topside. Oh no! 5-mini gets taken down to the end by Bradley, and Kenby is going to find Focus. Although Ace in the hole, Collector, it's not enough. But the spear is not enough either. It's not going to be Sushi tonight. Focus swimming freely.
A nice little dodge there, but Citadel, they find a good answer back. They win plays on 2 sides of the map there, in mid and in top, and we're going to see a replay of what went down here. Philip, thinking he had an opportunity, He got some help from Bradley to help secure that one there, and Mini unfortunately played the worst game of all. Lennon flashed and died.
It happens.
It
Meanwhile, what else happens is a turret going down, a Rift Herald going down, and that bleed that just happened to disappear a few moments ago is right back to where it was.
Crazy. It's funny how that happens, and
Crazy
props
how
to
that
Citadel for being able to create that opportunity there. I think watching some of their past matches, overstaying in lanes like that has bitten them in the behind, but this time around it ended up working out really nicely for them on the top side. Still though, in response to their backs, AMI going to hard push this mid lane. They're going to be able to get that turret, open up the map a little bit while Philip responds bot side.
And kind of regaining some strength on the map at the right time. They're going to use the Rift Herald as the Dragon is coming up in about 30 seconds. Could be a second Dragon for either side. See if they escort this Rift Herald and will at least get the one charge off and get a little bit of damage. Not going to find the turret though.
Yeah, and
oh my gosh! He just instantly, that's your tank by the way.
Yeah.
And he's just gone. So now that Dragon is not going to be able to be contested whatsoever.
That's right. No Ornn Horn means no Dragon to play for. So it does mean Citadel. I think it's a really nice catch out there from Decoy, who's a little bit out of position. And that's what kind of makes these objective fights a little dangerous. While AMI are going to get stronger, when we think about Ornn items, when we think about Mini scaling, Baz scaling, walking into Citadel's composition is pretty dangerous. You get hit by a light binding, you get stunned by Kenvi. If everybody's there, there's a good chance you're going to die really fast.
I mean, Kenvi's already on 2 items, dude. Like, this is insane on a Pantheon. Already has the Black Lever completed. You will have that second item completion for Baz, at least, having that rapid fire. There's that combo you were talking about, but it has to be enough. You're still waiting for Mini and Decoy to really get to those scaling promises, and especially for Decoy, going to be a little bit off. Slow Jazz, that bridge builder, going to steal away that chicken nugget from
stealing
Mr.
some wood,
Kenvi.
if you will.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he's got to build that bridge. He needs materials. You know,
live materials that move and squawk. Yes.
Yeah, you know, they could make a pretty crazy horror movie. Make buildings out of like living things.
Oh God. Yeah, now we're getting.
Wait,
isn't that
the Hills Have Eyes? I don't know. It's not important.
No, that's not.
Oh, okay.
Hills Have Eyes is a crazy movie though.
Honestly, I don't watch horror movies because I'm just kind of making all this up.
You're just like making up horror stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't
like,
even watch it. Wow.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
You caught me.
The epitome of 2025.
I'm a fraud.
You are not a fraud, my friend.
I know.
Anyways, we are going to be looking at this setup potentially in mid lane. AMI going to be a little bit hesitant to move out on the map. I really want to see them get some vision lines down. You can see they have a lot of strength of vision around bot side, but it will be immediately cleared out by CTG. CTG could threaten the Adacon if they really want to, but they're going to pressure mid.
That's right. I think they're going to just get this wave in and then work their way down into the river, get a little more aggressive vision down, and even use the Ocean Rift extra plants, extra fog given by this map to be able to pressure the members of AMI just a little bit more. Because now Adacon is really the only thing to look at the moment, and it's something that I'm sure Citadel Gaming really want to go for right now.
Gonna look on mid, maybe a little bit of a punish potential on the Baz. They do have Grand Starfall. The dive could be imminent. Low Jazz, he's gonna spot out Kenvi though with his standard, but Philip has already spotted him out. Ace in the hole comes through. Not enough damage to spear dodged out of. Kenvi cannot hit it, but Low Jazz will be forced to back away.
Yeah, they are fishing, trying to see whatever kill they can find to start off this objective, but instead, they're gonna just go ahead and back. And they have top pushed in pretty deeply. Decoy has to answer that one. And now I think Citadel can just keep focusing their sights on this bottom lane here. Even Bradley isn't going back towards that top side. He's walking through mid. And I think at this point, if Kenvi, Diamond, or even Philip in a way catches somebody out, this whole team is going to jump on them.
A little bit of setup now. Let's see who goes in first. Shockwave still at the ready if Bradley wants to things off here himself. Kenvi flashes for it.
Wow!
Immediately just eviscerates Baz. Flash is coming out, and they might be going to watch that Hills Have Eye movie because right now they are getting murdered. 3.8 thousand gold up CTG. Kenvi, my goodness, it's good to see you back, baby.
Yeah, and that's the kill they needed, Vassell. They're going to go start that objective immediately, and they're going to make sure nobody is around to interfere as they do their due diligence. But this Otacon is going to go down, and it's exactly the gas needed for this fire CTG have been building this game.
And it's not even like Baz has had a bad game. He's had a really good game, but Kelpie just uplifts him out of his team when he's surrounded by his friends. And it is just devastating when you get one of your major carries ripped out like that, and Kevin knew exactly what he was doing. Now we get a little bit of a response from LoJazz, going to try to steal away some of Kenby's camp.
And that might ease the sting a little bit there, Mazel, but I think AMI have lost a lot more that can be made up for with our Raptors camp there. It's going to take what they can, but I think CTG find themselves right back in the driver's seat. It feels like they really hadn't even left. They lost that gold lead for a minute or two, and then 2 back-to-back plays got them right back into this lead. And now they're going to be ready to go for that soul point that's coming up in about 40 seconds now. You can see Philip, he's pushed the wave top, he's walking his way mid. That's why AMI are trying to fight.
Okay, Grand Starfall coming in though, as Pocus immediately flashes away from it. 5 Mini waiting on the other side with the gravity well, will be able to get his team out of there, but they will lose that outer tower for it. They're bringing Decoy over. Maybe they want to try to fight. Ornhorn is coming back up, but it would be very hard to find an angle into this one. And Ace in the hole just going to take half of Pocus's health ahead of the dragon spawn. Ornhorn, that's desperate. Not going to find it.
Yeah.
Oh, and it.
Oh my God!
Oh, Diamond! That final spark was the final effort from AMI. LoJazz is getting burned down. Now Kenby getting a little bit low. Decoy started it all off and will just die in the end. The bubble connects, but LoJazz dies before he can reach his standard. And the Dragon holistically going to go to CTG. And now 5,000 plus gold in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, this one is tough. I think that play was ambitious at best. And those are situations where, yeah, it feels bad that Citadel can go for this soul point, but it's not Dragon Soul. There are just some fights you have to let go of, Mazel, and this was one of them. You were not going to get that Dragon, but there's a tier 1 you can take. What if you pushed it and maybe you could have taken more off that? You need gold right now as Apex Mission Impossible, but instead, they went for the objective fight they weren't ready for. They get punished for it heavily. So not only do Citadel have soul point, they have more gold to work with and have almost guaranteed themselves that soul in 5 minutes.
And an Ocean Soul on top of all this, on top of the almost 3 item spikes for CTG. That scaling that AMI was desperately holding on to will be slipping out of their grasps. And again, we go back. I mean, yes, CTG had a very strong lead for a majority of this game, but then there was that dip, that little moment that AMI really felt like they were pulling together, capitalizing on some of the mistakes of CTG. It feels like it's a little bit of a microcosm of their split in NACL, but now they're trying to recombine, trying to get everybody back together and move on this top side of the map around this Baron play and around this vision that CTG have so meticulously piled up for themselves.
That's right. And now Philip, oh boy, he's looking for a little more. He's really feeling himself there. Oh, because the team's going.
Okay, Ornhorn coming in, but the equalizer is so beautiful, laying out the red carpet of AMI's demise.
Oh my God!
As they just completely disappear off the map. Another command is not going to be enough. The shockwave going a little bit wide. 5 Mini was burning, but immediately turning back over to the Baron is CTG.
Oh yeah, CTG can take whatever fight they want, and it's just going to work out for them, Mazel. Now they can go ahead and take this Baron, and should have everything they need to close out this game 1.
Got all the tools, all the resources they need, and they have one goal in mind, and a very confident goal of that in getting into NACL and giving a run to all these top supposed teams. The confidence runs rampant with this squad. It's not just Diamond.
Supposed is crazy.
Diamond, Diamond is probably the most vocal out of them, but I think one of the more interesting parts, not talking about the confidence too much that Diamond brings to the table, is he is the newer addition to this roster and trying to figure out like his big impact. And what he talked so much about yesterday was his leadership skills. And it's something we've always known Diamond to be good at, right? Every time he comes into a team, they just seemingly level up on the macro decisions. And I think we can absolutely see Diamond's impact on CTG. Even if Kenby has been leading the charge a lot of this, the conversations, the shot calling and stuff, I know comes from Diamond in a lot of cases.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Oh, hold on. Oh, low jazz.
Is this deja vu?
I know. I feel like we've been in this place before.
Philip really likes that little choke point there for his equalizers. It always looks damn good.
It's OP, man. I don't know what to tell you, but another kill there on the decoy. It's going to make it pretty easy to get this Baron minion wave in, and Kenby once more.
Oh, and the shockwave to pull it back for the ace of the hole. Look at the teamwork. That's an alley-oop right there.
Yeah.
And that's going to be pushing down the middle and trying to get this game number one under wraps for CTG.
I think it's wrapped up. A nice little bow covering it, Mazel. Citadel Gaming. Bit of an oopsie in the mid game, but at the end of it, it was still so dominant beginning to end. And now the last stand of AMI to see if they can do anything.
See if they give over another kill to Kenby or who's going to get that gold. As they do give a couple more over the Oran Horn as a last-ditch effort, but Decoy knows what's coming, and so does CTG. A 1-0 lead in this best of 5.
That's 28-minute win too. Not bad from Citadel Gaming. I think this game does give us an idea of why a lot of us are really excited about this roster. Again, that's the talent and experience to show for it. And I think for AMI early game, there were some pretty good opening moves there from them, but they weren't able to kind of hold on the scaling composition. So,
and I do appreciate the idea of trying to take into that 2v2, trying to find an advantage in that 2v2, because I know that Baz was a big reason why AMI was finding victories in their wins, the wins that they did have. And a big focus of CTG is how good their bot lane has been. And I think trying to find if that's going to work is a good stepping stone for them. I think they stepped on it and realized that it's a trap, so now I expect them to pull back and figure out how to work forward and finding more utility picks, finding the Jhin if they can for Baz, but really trying to figure out how they can find a step up in this series, because CTG are looking oh so dominant off of that first #1 win. Already, though, we still have a best of 5 ahead of us. A lot of games to go. We'll see you for game number 2 on the other side of this break. Welcome back, everyone, to the NACL Split 2 Promotion Tournament. As I'm Mazel, I'm joined by Beatdown Boulevard, and we already had a very one-sided game for Citadel over Apex Mission Impossible. Again, the winner of this best of 5, they booked their ticket for that Split 2 of NACL.
That's right, and Citadel Gaming, they've taken step 1 of 3 steps to be able to make that one happen. You said it. It was
Showing your bias there. I don't know. What if there's 5 steps?
No, but 3 wins.
Oh, yeah.
So if they lose, you know, they didn't complete the step. Nice try.
All right.
Can't
I was
catch
trying
me.
to catch you. I was trying to catch
Nah,
you, Sleepy.
not today, buddy. Not today. I might be younger than you, but I wasn't born yesterday, Lennon.
True.
Yeah. But it was a good opening there from Apex Mission Impossible. I liked some of the things that I saw, but I think this is just something we see happen a lot in Tier 2 in general. You pick a scaling comp, and we don't give up the objectives we're supposed to give up. We fight for all of them, and it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, these are kinds of moments where like you don't want to be super harsh on particular players because these are all developing players, and especially it's like, you know, teams that were struggling in an ACL in a lot of cases. So a lot of development, a lot of that kind of focus.
Very true, yeah.
A lot of the fights were really decent, and I gotta say, I really want to see, if there's one person I'm gonna kind of point out, is I really want to see some more consistency from Decoy and see what they can get from him, because I think a lot of the engages and things were a little bit off, and it was kind of baiting the team in a lot of cases. And I think if AMI are going to find consistency, like we've seen that come from Low Jazz and Phi Mini, and sometimes Baz, obviously, but they really need to figure out a composition that they all feel super comfortable and confident on for game number 2.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a talk going on behind the scenes there for AMI to kind of work on that going into the next game. I'm sure they're aware of that and the issues going on in game 1, and we'll see what that response is going to be, that kind of adaptation going into that next game, and we'll see what sides they end up being on. I mean, it is their choice, so maybe we see blue side yet again.
I'm sure it'll be blue side.
Yeah, still plenty of opportunities for them to get some strong drafts going into the rest of the series.
And this, if you're wondering, like you're just showing up, you're like, oh my God, Citadel smacked them. This is a team in AMI that you could never really count out in a lot of cases. Like they were taking games off some really tough teams as well. They were having some really good early games in a ton of their games. And now Citadel is not some kind of slouchy opponent they're facing. Citadel is a team that has a ton of experience on it in the NACL side of things. And they are a team that is favored to promote for that summer split. So AMI got to use all the learnings that they've had since that drop-off of NACL, all the scrims and things that they've told us they've been working through. They've only taken 4 rest days since the end of NACL, and they got to find a way to hone that into an edge.
Yeah, that's the hope there. We did just get an update on the other series going on there. Dorado Gaming versus Pulse. Pulsar are up 1-0.
Okay.
Or no, it isn't. It's Dorado.
It's Dorado.
Who are up 1-0.
Okay.
Excuse me. There you go.
I'm
sorry.
I wasn't even looking.
I misunderstood. My fault. My fault. It's okay. It's okay. But Dorado Gaming, they take that first game there. So they do have that chance. They're ahead right now. And maybe 2 more wins, 2 more steps, as I was saying earlier.
Out of the 2 NACL teams, like AMI, if you don't know anything about these teams, like AMI felt like a very different caliber than Polestar did coming into it. And so in a lot of ways, you can expect some of those troubling moments from Polestar, but you were hoping that some of the growth comes through in the off part. Dorado Gaming, though, they're looking for momentum, man. I don't know, Shochi was online earlier saying, I'm promoting the NACL today. It's happening. Come check it out. So I'm really excited to see Polestar can kind of give them a series, especially because there had been some good moments from Polestar as well. But refocusing onto this one. This is an important one, again, for Apex Mission Impossible to pull back from, but it's also an important one for Citadel to potentially put themselves at match point with a team that is all about promoting and even has their eyes on that LTA slot at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, so far Citadel looks really good so far in this earlier stages of the series. We did get confirmation that Apex is choosing blue side, so we predicted right, and I heard correctly this time, guys. I'm sorry. So it does give Apex an opportunity. I know.
My goat.
Apex Mission Impossible, they have that chance. A lot of strong champions left, so could use that side to maybe get themselves a good comp. But no matter how good the comp, guys, we got to be ready to give up objectives we can't fight for, because you could have the best comp in the world, but if you do stuff like that, you're still going to lose.
See what happens. Game number 2 on the docket here. Apex Mission Impossible will be back on that blue side like we were saying. We'll see if the similar bans are going to come through. Don't expect much of a difference, especially from that game number 1. The Jace was that first ban as well, so it'll be there yet again. The Callista was in the second phase. Do we see that maybe a little bit earlier now if Instinct really wants to turn on the Jets here in the bot lane? But the Azir will also be the ban from CTG side of things.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. Those are champions that we're likely not going to be seeing very much of. I was surprised to even see Azir come out yesterday during the matches, but you know, it happens. Sometimes people think there's no way someone's going to play Azir, and then they're talking about it later, and that's when they picked Azir.
Yep. It's like, how did you lose that game? They picked Azir. Oh, crap.
You know, Azir lost that game, actually. The crazy thing.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it was a meme. It was a meme. It was a joke.
Oh, my fault. You're right. My bad. I can't get any
fine.
interpretation.
You're too locked in, bro.
I am, bro.
You're too locked in.
Focused. No time for jokes.
No time for jokes. It's all seriousness here in the NACL.
Yeah.
Varus is that second ban. The Callista, it does move to the first phase, like I was talking about, making sure that Instinct can't just keep that momentum going for himself. But now we got to see what those first pick leanings are going to be for AMI this time.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what's going on, particularly in that bot lane. I think Vaz, as a player, when we were looking at NACL during the split, he can play some of those earlier champs, but could also play more of the scaling picks as well. A champion I'm kind of interested in, especially with that Lulu ban we saw in that first game draft, is the Aphelios. He was buffed this patch. I think was already in a pretty good place situationally, but if you're in a position where you want to hyper carry, I think he would have been a good choice, so maybe we could see that come through. But right now it's Corki. Baz really liked this one as well.
Yeah.
Is a scaling pick, so you know, same but different.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. We'll see what the rest of the comp is. If it's a double marksman comp as well, maybe if
I
we
do
end
like
up moving
those.
that Corki to mid, if at all possible. But the Xayah is going to be the lock-in. Has a lot of safety there with that Featherstorm, but the Blade Caller, but also very aggressive in a lot of ways, and they're going to have the Lovers duo locked in for CTG.
Yeah, so already going for another strong bot lane combo there for Diamond and Instinct, and I think it makes sense. They play lane well, they play aggressively, and they might as well get the tools to do so.
And some tools they will have. We'll see exactly what kind of lockdown AMI want to go with. If they are going to move this Corki around, how they want to play with that, or at least what they want to lock in for themselves in this first phase to really lean off of comfort. And it's going to be the Maokai locked in for them. So a lot of spacing in fights.
Yeah, I like it too, just because you create a lot of space for your team. You can disengage, you can engage from a distance, which I think is really nice as well. There's just so much this champion can do, and it gives LoJazz a lot of opportunity to, again, play facilitator for his team.
I do wonder if we go away from the tankiness in top lane and go to a decoy Renekton here.
Fun. I mean, you want to, it is with Rumble out of the picture, I think that ends up feeling pretty fine. You're less worried about getting counterpicked super hard there, I think, by Philip, but there's still the Gragas and things like that we know Philip likes to play a lot. And I think right now it's decoy. He's trying to go for a strong lane. He picked scaling before, now he's picking early lane, and because now he's playing into the Scion, he does have a chance to try and generate some leads.
He does. I still am terrified of what Scion brings in the later parts.
I agree with
and
you.
what you can do. Yeah, you know, it's a scary thing. But they will have some tools to deal with it, obviously, and if Philip kind of mispositions, that can be a lot of wiggle room there. The Trundle is going to be the ban towards LoJazz, so thinking that this Maokai was going to go towards the support role, and maybe taking away some more of those oomph picks from LoJazz. Again, things that make him look good, things that give him a lot of decision-making power, like that Jarvan in the last game, are where his bread and butter really lies.
Yeah, I like that shout because we know Maokai support. A couple teams in NACL were willing to play it. So now we're going to see the Rise taken away as well. Mid-pool being pinched a little bit from Bradley, even though we know Bradley can play so many different champions. I'm wondering, too, I mean, we saw him play the Akali. We know he likes that one a lot. Maybe this is the game for it. I don't know.
Yeah, you want to see the
fun.
Akali.
Maybe I do, maybe I don't, Lennon, you know?
Yeah, just like I want to see the Jhin.
I might be a fan.
Fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying Jhin might be at work here. Sejuani is the final ban towards LoJazz, giving, again, those tools to him is the big saving grace for AMI. So they know that on CTG side of things. We'll see if those Bradley bans continue to be here or if they're going to try to focus in on something else. It will be the Xin Zhao So trying to leave that open as long as possible, apparently, here in this series.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't believe that hover because that's too exciting. Oh, God, okay. It's getting locked in.
You said I don't believe. Well, you better start believing.
I know. And you know what? There's only one. Surely Citadel are angling for the Nico there on R5. And it kind of feels like there isn't really much you can do about it as AMI, unless they want to pick Nico for 5 mini. She did get nerfed a little bit on this patch, but I think for the most part, in general, as a laner, she's actually pretty good.
There it is. Corki in mid lane, double marksman's going to be the Zeri Lulu. So they're going to keep that open up. Remember, they banned away Lulu in that game number 1. Maybe thinking back to that, saying maybe they wanted to leave that open and keep it open, make sure that CTG couldn't take it. And it will be a very strong combo in the bot lane for Baz and Pocus.
Oh, it will be. So it is going to be playing more for that hyperscaling into that late game. This is another pick that Baz really likes to play in the NACL. And this double marksman comp does mean you scale nice, you do a lot of damage, and you have movement to try and stay away from the Nocturne, which feels nice. But it also means Sion can just build armor, Mazel.
Yes,
and later on into the game, he will be pretty monstrous.
Yeah, the only AP damage that's going to come as like the some magic damage that Corki has.
The one item.
Maokai, baby.
Yeah,
better build that Leandries. So you're going to get a lot of value off that, low jazz. But curiously enough, it's CTG who are kind of, I feel like, play with the draft a little bit because they got the Doctor when they picked the Orianna last game as well. That kind of tried-true combo. Not going to be there for them, but still a very aggressive comp in that way, and especially with this mid-jungle duo.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Bradley Sway is still really good. It does give you range, it does give you scaling, it does give you a lot of damage. So it ends up working out really well. It's just not as exciting as the Orianna or the Nico or something like that. But I'm sure once we get into the game, we're going to be like, why would we ever want him to pick anything else?
Absolutely. That's just the way it rolls. But we see if AMI can fight back a little bit in this series and try to get this to a 1-1 after a decimating game number 1. CTG look ever dominant. A 2-0 yesterday with their eyes on the prize. All the experience you could ever ask for to promote back into the NACL, back to that goal they all have, and looking forward to that potential LTA slot at the end of the year. Will they move on to match point, or will we get a tied-up series? We'll find out in game number 2.
Yeah, this time around, AMI, I think they do have some tools for a bit of early game shenanigans. I'm especially looking at that top side there. And of course, you have double range bot lane. So even though you are playing for scaling, you still can get some advantages. Still give Low Jazz an opportunity to be able to make plays earlier on as Maokai. And as time goes on, I mean, Maokai just gets better and better. Ult is so good. Ability to play make is so strong. So a lot of tools for AMI to succeed this game.
Minions have spawned.
I'm really honed in on this 2v2 as well, especially since it looks like supposedly both junglers going to be starting top side. Would mean that we get those passed down towards this bot lane 2v2 and maybe a little bit of action at those kind of marks at level 3, level 4, level 5. And see if that really opens things up here, because I think there's a lot of carry potential between Baz and Instinct. Obviously, Instinct has had the better of Baz so far. I think if there's going to be a saving grace on these teams, especially in this game, the team fighting aspects of both these carries is going to be on point.
That's right, and now already we're fighting really hard for that lead in the bottom lane, trying to get aggressive and see if they can get level 2 first. Doesn't look like it's actually going to work there, but you got to imagine, even if you're against double range as Zyricon, there are angles, if your opponents aren't careful, that you can capitalize on.
And now we just have a vast difference between what approach the junglers are bringing. Ooh, Pocus. That's if he was level 2, Pocus absolutely dies there, but the blade color not available for him. Very different strategies between both junglers now. I mean, there's going to be a lot of space saving, a lot of kind of facilitation from Low Jazz's side of things on the Maokai, but Kenby is all about the carry performance. Once he hits level 6, he's going to be everywhere.
You say that, but he's level 3, and he wants to show up top lane, which is not a Nocturne thing to do at all, but maybe trying to see no E.
The flash, the play, the spear, it's there, and he's going down. First blood from Kenby, getting on the other side of him to get the fear distance.
I really like that one. Nicely done there from Kenby. I mean, like, this is just so beyond your expectations as a laner. to see a Nocturne gank like that, especially a Nocturne starting out on that top side. So it's not optimal. You waste a lot of time if the play doesn't work, but Lennon, it worked! So now Kenvi got Decoy's flash away, he gave his top laner a bit of an advantage, and he's going to be able to finish this clear on the bottom side of the map, only slightly behind Lojaz.
See how much that pays off for. We're going to take a look at First Blood here.
This is literally like, if this is solo queue, like, this top laner is disconnecting, I promise. And yeah, again, you called it out. Really nicely done for Kenvi to get on the other side of him. So the fear would force Decoy to walk away from his tower.
It's just all about the little mechanics. As, there will be a little bit more time spent on that by Kenvi, so he's a little bit slower on the full clear. Lojaz will just take this bottom side scuttle. See if he decides to go for the double scuttle here and try to get that advantage back. A little eke advantage. As Kenvi, he knows focus is here. Diamond is roamed as well. It's a 3v3 forming in the mid lane. By Mini, I don't think he got the message. Was a little bit scared for his life there, not going to lie. But Lojaz is going to try to move over now. See how close they get. The Maw is not going to connect from Bradley, using a lot of his mana there. Looks like double scuttle will be secured by AMI and Lojaz.
Yeah, so at least that's something that AMI can kind of get there. Lojaz will be able to have that bit of a lead there over Kenvi, but it's really more allowing him to equalize, because again, Kenvi got First Blood. That gold on the Nocturne is going to help ease the sting of that double scuttle situation. And because Kenvi had already backed and came with that double longsword, he's kind of in a position to just go ahead and do his clear all over again, top to bottom this time.
And you know, that's both Decoy going for the 1v1 on Philip. Kenvi's here though. Like, man, can you just leave me alone? Philip's gonna get the slow with the flash, the decimating smash, everything lining up just like the rhythm. And Kenvi is gonna find another fear and another kill. 2-0 lead for Citadel.
Guys, can we just have a moment of silence for Decoy, because that's gotta be so tilting. Like, what a oh my god,
bro?
He shows up again! Just to be able to make that play. So now, Decoy's game is really hard. He came back to lane the first time with boots and a longsword. He backs again, isn't able to buy anything. And now this wave is also pushing away from him as well. He's losing a lot this game. And when you look across the board there, not much is really lost anywhere else. So Kenvi's been able to put all this focus topside while his laners are doing mostly fine across the map. There's like small CS differences, but the fact is, it's okay. Oh,
Kenvi in trouble now, though, as he gets caught in transition, and all of that lead, that shutdown, going to 5 mini.
That one feels really good for the Corki to be able to pick that one up. So that's a bit of an oops there from Kenvi. Bot lane is pushed in. Really not a great time for him to be able to walk down in the river. And they punish him accordingly. It will allow AMI to secure that dragon as well. And for Instinct, who's not quite level 6, to have to play very carefully bot lane.
Try to get that re-engaged there, Diamond. And even back and forth, the slow did come down on the Instinct, but all this pressure, all this distraction should lead to the first. Oh, he is spotted out. The sapling, it wasn't enough. Lojaz is by himself in the pit now, though. And it's going to be stolen by Diamond, of all people. Lojaz is maybe making it out. One more auto should do it. Bradley's trying to run over here. The feats of warfare have been secured again, single-handedly, by the man himself, Kenvi.
Yeah, also, did they change feats? Or is the bug just that persistent? Because, Lennon, it isn't just... Oh, wow.
Oh. Philip is dead.
I mean, fair enough. Level 6 for Renekton goes kind of crazy. But, yeah, I think feats of warfare are bugs. No turrets have gone down, no objectives have gone down, Lennon. And well, Citadel have
feats of warfare is just the kills, and the feats of strength is the whole thing.
Oh!
Yeah.
Wow. All right, fair enough. My fault.
Oh, good. Dude, how did Diamond get... I got it. No, Kenvi's health bar is blocking the health. That's
did
so
he smite
cringe.
The spell shield? That's actually...
I think he did, yeah.
Ooh, well...
I wanted to see the health bar.
Yeah. You win some, you lose some. And Citadel, I mean, they still find themselves a very small advantage, but they steal the Drake, which is a pretty big thing there. And Kenvi, again, who just seems to be getting a lot of the kills so far on this team, sitting at 3-1 on the Nocturne.
I mean, second game in a row where he is literally the feats of warfare. He gets all 3 of the kills
Yeah,
himself.
that's true.
As Philip, unfortunately, just out of mana. Looks like he overextended his hand under turret.
Yeah, it feels bad moment there. He got a little too aggressive, and Decoy is able to punish him. So it kind of is pretty nice if you're Decoy, just because as the Renekton, you were kind of in the blender a little bit in that early game, but you're able to get a little something back, and it kind of gets you back in the game there.
It does. It does indeed. I'm just wondering now with these kind of spikes coming through and the level 6s more importantly available, if AMI can kind of keep presence on the map, because Kenvi can absolutely be lethal now. This Paranoia, they are going to get first move into it. The one grub did already go over to Lojaz, so at least won't give over all 3, but I think the other 2 and the proc on the objective for the feats of strength should go over to CTG. Lojaz coming in. There's nobody blocking him here as well. The fear is going to come out. Kenvi is very strong. He already has the Phage and the Tunneler here. Ultimate
Oh my God, he just
by
kills
Philip,
him.
and now they just outright win this
Decoy.
2v2. Kenvi,
I was going to say.
he's going to be in a little bit of trouble there. Was thinking about flashing out if a Decoy wanted to go for it, but that'll be the 2 grubs and the kill on the Lojaz going to CTG.
That's right. So that is feats of strength collected there for Citadel Gaming, and Kenvi, and he just continues to exert his pressure all across the map. He's level 6 now. He has access to the Paranoia. And that does mean any play now for AMI is just that much more dangerous than Zell, because he can come flying in from halfway across the map.
I mean, hey, as I said, once he hits level 6, see him everywhere, and we might just get that. Philip losing out a little bit more on this topside fight is going to get a little bit of that health trade back, and Kenvi
You're
is back
joking.
again. A third visit here for his dear friend Decoy. Says, do you have a little bit of money for me? He went the wrong way. He's going to pop the Paranoia. The fear still connects, and Kenvi will reap a 4th kill off of him. Meanwhile, 5 Mini. He just got a solo, or at least a 2-for-1, 2v1 against Bradley in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, much needed gold going over to Apex Mission Impossible on the other side. They've lost so much on top lane. So for 5 Mini being able to get that kill there onto Bradley, it really helps. Cost Bradley his flash. It was traded, but it's still worth it because he died. And it was a really nice roam there from Pocus and a nice use of the wild growth to knock up Bradley before he could flash.
Yeah, I was wondering how Pocus had gotten assist on that. He just walked there.
Yeah. He did.
You know, might as well. The flashes are going to be down for both mid laners, so maybe revisited too, but there is another dragon coming up in about 45 seconds. Kenvi taking the aggressive hand here, going to go for the jungle invade preemptively ahead of that. TP going to be used by 5 Mini to get back into the lane. Is this a fight that AMI feel like they can take?
At the moment, I don't really like their chances just because of how strong Kenvi is right now. Especially because Decoy, even though he is kind of far behind this game, he can still have an impact on squishies with that dominance in team fights. Oh, especially if Baz ults.
Big blade caller right back, Baz. Eating that one up. Big thing is those item differentials as well. 2 first item completions for the side of CTG already, especially with that experimental hex plate for Kenvi. Going to make his fighting streak extremely strong. And he's already positioned around this bot side.
Yeah, and you can see Bradley's got that wave in, so he's going to be able to move with his jungler to help set up. I don't think AMI can fight this one. I think you let this go, and it's not even soul point, so I think it's fine for them to be able to let it go. You can see right now, you want 5 Mini and Baz to hit their second items before you do any major objective fighting in the zone. That's really the time you're waiting for.
Dragon number 2 goes over, so that stacking objective getting closer and closer.
Ooh.
And will be the Hex Soul out on the Rift. So even more importance to grab that one as time goes on. You see a little bit of pressure in these lanes from CTG. And going to be a little bit quiet on the Rift as Unstoppable Onslaught had been used by Philip to escape in topside. As there was a little bit of a visit from 5 Mini.
Yeah, there was. That visit cost him, though, as Bradley's able to push that whole wave into the turret. He's going to lose out on at least some of it. Oh, hold on.
Oh, they got the play a bid. Smiling Despair is going to hit there, though, as they get the combo. Kenby trying to follow up on a 5-mini, but he gets knocked back by Low Jazz, and this is where the tankiness starts coming through. Kenby flashes and still dies to the tree man. Low Jazz coming in clutch for his mid laner.
He is, and that was a play, too, that Low Jazz started. It looked like Kenby was going to be able to turn it, but 5-mini and Low Jazz, they played that one out really nicely, and it's gold into the pockets of AMI, much needed.
That's the kind of combination that made AMI find those wins, find those good games in the early games. And while we're still close to that mid-game setup, Low Jazz at 5-mini finally combining in this series for a bountiful play. Let's see if they can play off that anymore. That Shojin spike had been really big, but now you're really waiting on those 2-3 item spikes for Corki to come online.
That's right. I think once 5-mini has that, Muramane is going to be really strong. Baz looking for the second item. Oh.
He's going to get the wild growth out. Quickness had been popped by Diamond. Wasn't able to connect onto Pocus, but Baz is still kicking, still fine. Going to get the push back out onto this wave. There's the Low Jazz gank that was in the periphery, but not going to be pulled off.
I mean, no pun intended, but good instinct there from Instinct and Diamond. Didn't really seem like there was any vision, but once I think they recognized the timer that Low Jazz had to gank them, so instead of all-inning, they walked away after the wild growth was forced out, and they don't lose their lives to what was going to be a pretty big gank from Low Jazz, so nicely done.
Maybe a dive going on to the top side. I mean, it's like 1.5 items already for Philip.
Watching this is so painful.
Yeah, I mean, it's just wet noodles smacking each other. It's like a day at the pool.
It's like a wet noodle versus a fiery wet noodle because the Sunfire is burning Decoy. He's not healing as much because of the Bramble Vest. It's a little sad, and that's the effort from Kenby on the top side really paying off here. Now Kenby's hovering mid lane too, while Instinct and Diamond, they knock down some HP of this mid-tier 1 turret. You gotta imagine they'll be able to take it down soon.
Yeah, these are the spikes, or at least this is the moment that CTG feels strongest in kind of this mid-game setup with a lot of the strength that Kenby has already got with the kills that he has, but just the compositional strength for them. And we'll see if they can kind of lean off that. Low Jazz is a very important factor here, just being that kind of tanky front line already. And he does have that heart steal, so he's stacking away on that one as he goes forward. But Kenby going to start up the Rift Herald here with Instinct and Diamond having moved over as well.
I will say, it feels really bad to have Heartsteel this late, because you're starting out the stacking pretty late, but right now, it's going to be that.
Nature's Grass coming in. They're going to get the Paranoia out. It's a 50-50. Kenby just goes for the fight. Low Jazz is still on the objective. He's losing his teammates, but he got the objective itself. Now Philip trying to circle around the rest of it. As Kenby can't follow Low Jazz. He's too damn tanky, but the objective got taken by AMI.
Yeah, I mean, it costs you your 80 carry, which I think in the end, unless you get serious value out of that Rift Herald, I'm not quite sure that's going to end up being worth it, because now you can see this next wave coming in here. If they're able to take down the turret on the side of CTG, it's going to be pretty good for them. But right now, 5-mini, he's pretty strong. He's going to be able to push them off.
Now they just need to recircle up and get ready for this next dragon here. In about 50 seconds, a Hextech dragon will be spawning, but it could be Soul Point for CTG. It's a really nice stepping off point for them, and a lot of decision-making power in that next setup. Also, the early stacking really benefits them in a lot of ways, but we will finally have those first items completed aplenty for almost everybody on the Rift. And I think that maybe changes a little bit of the fighting strength for AMI.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting too, because I think in this situation, AMI might be able to do something at this dragon fight, especially because Kenby doesn't quite have his ult up back yet. But the problem is, Decoy's far away. He needs to start moving right now if he wants to be part of this.
Taking the fight, Instinct and Diamond, they'll be pushed out. That Rift Herald's going to be popped in mid lane. Try to get this outer turret before this all kicks off. Going to be charged in by Low Jazz. CTG can't do anything to defend this one. It's just going to go down. First turret in the end does go the way of AMI. He's going to use it as an exit strategy as well. He can get his way out of there. Just going to deliver it back into mid lane in the end. And looks like they might not look to be contesting this dragon, although the setup is there for CTG.
Yeah, I think Decoy is on the other side of the map without TP. A Citadel put Bradley up there because he had his. there's really just no way it ends up working out. So it's looking like AMI this time around not fighting off more than they can chew in terms of objective fights. The question now is, they got mid-tier 1 for it. What else are they going to be able to get? If it's a dive onto Bradley bot lane and taking that turret, I actually really like that one, and I hope that's what they're going for.
I hope so too. I would love to see that kind of setup as well, because cleanliness can also be important.
Yes.
Pocus got about half his health taken off of him in top side as he's trying to get some warding going down. The diamond's going to come right back out on the Rift decoy. Try to take down a turret here. Surprisingly enough, it's crazy that AMI got the first turret in the end, got a little bit extra gold for themselves, but now
True.
CTG still have a lot of standing gold on the map to continue bolstering these kinds of leads that they've been getting. Even though the gold is dead even, there's a semblance on the map. There's a little bit more strength in the pocket of CTG.
And now, Instinct going to use this opportunity to take down that mid-tier 1 finally. So that's going to give Citadel a bit of a lead there. And you can see the setup. They look like they want to try and take this top tier 1 out as well. It's just going to take a tickle, and this turret's going to be taken out. Oh.
Okay, a little bit of pressure on the decoy here. It's going to be almost everything you, but that big redemption actually doing so much work. CTG just don't have the damage. Decoy making it out. The Nature's Grass going back across now. Low Jazz here to try to lock things down. They do have Baz right around the corner as well. Paranoia still available. Kenvy's waiting to see if AMI get a little bit too over-eager. And honestly, that was
Look
insane.
on the other side. No, but I think that ends up being pretty huge for AMI. They don't lose anyone in the process, and look across the map. Fimini is farming it out. He's able to get this wave into the turret. He's wisely letting the turret kill as many minions as possible while collecting that next wave. So that is a big pickup there. I think Fimini will be able to finish his second item. And it's going to get this Corki to that point that we were talking about being huge for Apex Mission Impossible. So now, I think AMI have done pretty much all they can to be ready for that next dragon fight. Any bit of extra gold will be really useful, but I think Baz will finally be online.
And that being said, just still flabbergasted at the healing that we saw on Decoy. I mean, it was like the redemption and everything, but my God, that Q with the rage stack, absolutely insane. And maybe a little bit of a microcosm of what Decoy can do on this Renekton setup, but right now we really just have a lull period where it's actually really beneficial for AMI to have time to get to these second, third items, which, speaking of, Fimini has reached that second item completion.
That's right. It's really strong right now as the Corki, especially going with the Shojin first. So he's really going to pack a wallop. Now, still, you see Citadel doing a really good job maintaining control over the bottom side of the map in terms of vision. So it will mean AMI most likely will have to walk to them. But now, look, you can see what Fimini is doing. This is Philip with many armor items.
Oh, the knockup.
Still,
the flash going to be there.
He's out.
That's crazy. Paranoia going to come through there.
Yeah,
he saw him, though. He's trying to get to the blast code. Feared while he goes over, and the severing bolt from Harry Potter himself. Bradley will take him down, as now Kenvy is going to be on the back end of this fight. He took that Hex Cape, but it might have been in trouble, his alley.
Wow.
As Pocus gets poked by Bradley. About half his health gone as well. Decoy has already used Dominus, so that won't really be useful in the end. And it ends up CTG fighting tooth and nail with AMI.
It's still, I think it gives you a bit of an idea on how strong this Corki is and how strong he's going to continue to be. Baz has hit that second item mark as well. So while CTG are using this opportunity to put more pressure onto AMI, Fimini will be up soon. And I think now AMI are at a point where 5v5 isn't too bad for them.
Oh, Kenvy overextended here. He didn't expect them all to be there. The turret goes down, but Kenvy's going to burn his flash. Gets the double combined flash from AMI on the back end, and they will take him down. Blade Caller is going to be there if they go a little bit too far on Instinct, realizing that they will back off. But a really good couple of plays from AMI.
Yeah, really good catch out there on Citadel, who are overextending a little bit. I'm wondering if they want to use this opportunity to go for Otacon, but it doesn't look like they're actually going to start it. I'm kind of surprised. They have this double marksman comp that will probably do a lot of damage, but at the end of the day, I think they want to set up for this dragon because it is Hextech Soul coming up in 40 seconds time, and that's something you really don't want to let go, no matter how powerful Otacon also is.
It's always the flippy objective, it feels like. And especially when you have the other bigger thing happening around the other side of the map, which if we didn't get the memo, Dragons coming up in about 20 seconds. And a Hextech Dragon Soul for CTG would do them wonders. As you see AMI know that. They are going to go immediately to try to position ahead of this, but the mid push is going to be in favor of CTG. Fast stepping up. It's a little bit scary here, but the CTG side will just try to get this priority.
Yeah, Philip, he could soak up a lot of damage. He's going to be able to lead the charge here, but it's looking like CTG have an easy time getting into this pit. It looks like it'll probably be a smite fight, but watch supports trying to go for the back line.
Oh, the blast cone used decoys out of the fight right now. He's trying to get an angle here as Paranoia's been popped.
There it is.
Double knock up into the double knock up. It's a 2 for 2, but it's still fighting. Now in the pit, the Dragon's getting low. Kenby versus Low Jazz. It's going to go Low Jazz's way. He stops the stacking, but now CTG have their eyes honed in on him. They're going to try to take him down. He's tanky, but not tanky enough. Diamond going to miss his grand entrance, but Kenby follows it up, and a twofer comes through for Bradley as it connects yet again. 5 Mini will be taken down for the ace against Citadel.
And the only saving grace is that Low Jazz is able to hit the smite, because if that's an ace and soul, GG, well played. Let's start talking about game 3. But even though it's dire right now for CTG, Low Jazz, he gives his team a chance there. And even though that chance is going to be slightly diminished by the fact that Citadel, they are going to be able to go for the Otacon, I don't think there's a response available for AMI, but still, I think not giving up that soul is a big deal.
It is. I gotta say, it's a little bit of a light in the tunnel, but it was almost a dead even game before all these actions kicked off, and now you see an almost 4,000 gold lead for Citadel. It has exploded open, and I think the beneficiary of this the entire time has been Bradley. I feel like undersung in this one as the damage that the Hui has been putting down on the back of Kenvi, and he's almost on his Rabadon's third item already, and I think this Hui is going to be kicking.
Yeah, true. And Bradley is going to be really strong. I think everyone on the side of Citadel are also quite strong, and we're going to see this fight again. Again, this is part of it is the experience too that we see from the Citadel roster. So confident in a lot of the plays that they go for, and so easy for them to recognize who these key targets can be. The fights always look so fluid. So when Kenby and Diamond, they jump in and get 2 big targets right off the bat, you already automatically have this numbers advantage that will help you secure the fight.
And man, the maw into the passive damage from Bradley there with the combinations of everybody else is just so hard to deal with. There's so many angles you have to be watching, and now we see CTG potentially hovering over a Baron. I think it would be a little bit overeager for them to go for that just yet, but trying to figure out their next moves here. As they do have to think, I mean, yes, there's a pretty big lead here for CTG, but we've talked never-endingly about the AMI scaling proportions here and how they can kind of get in this game. It is still a double marksman composition.
Yeah, very true. And 5 Mini especially, who's been the recipient of so much gold this game, whether it's plates, turrets, kills, has hit his 3rd item. He's got the Black Cleaver. So it is doubled up there with Decoy, but it is going to give him a little bit of health on top of the armor shred that he already has on his E. So it will help him, I think, 1v1 into Philip, which is looking like the lane assignment that they've been working with for the last little while there. So that build kind of makes sense in that regard. And he's still like hitting like a truck in these team fights. So as long as AMI are able to defend him, it's pretty possible to win.
All that defense, is it going to pan out? We're taking a look now, 3rd item there as well, coming through for majority members here very shortly. On top of 5 Mini already having his Spiraling Despair going to be used. Decoy is going to have to, if he doesn't dodge out of that, kind of preemptively thinking about that Severing Bolt, he was going to go down. Though that does mean the Decoy is not on the map. He does have TP available to him. AMI going to try to move up towards this top side of the map, try to get some of this vision back because they've lost full control of their jungle.
Yeah, they have. I mean, that's tough with all these lanes being pushed in. Citadel playing out all these lanes really nicely, pressuring AMI, keeping them as close to their base as possible. And yeah, it makes it harder for them to even think about setting up for the Baron right now. It's up. I don't think Citadel want to go for it just yet, but I think once Bradley backs and finishes that death cap, they're going to be in a really great position to be able to make that happen as well.
I like some of the, we've talked a lot about obviously the kind of winning conditions for CTG, but I do appreciate something that we've seen from AMI across these last 2 games is when they are down, I do see a cohesiveness, at least in where they want to be on the map and how they're moving together. I think that's super important for a team that's been working together for a little while now, and especially, you know, having downtime away from competitive games, but still playing scrim, still practicing every day, not really giving up in that factor, and sticking to that mindset we had said for AMI at the very beginning.
That's right. Being able to keep up that work was so important to the improvement needed if they want to be able to make it back. Again, this series, winner makes it back to the NACL. That is what's at stake for these best of 5.
Oh, they're going to kick it off now. CTG feeling really confident. Nature's Grasp as the return, as they did do a little riposte there with the ultis, but Wild Growth. Oh, he stepped back, and now he's in trouble, though. Lojaz, severing bolt, can't get out of it. He's down. Bradley goes on a rampage. Unstoppable Onslaught might just be the name of the game for CTG as they try to take down Decoy. They end up fighting Baz, and that's the Featherstorm. Not going to get the Blade Collar back, though, but Pocus going down. Baz does dodge out of the severing bolt. CTG are going to turn back onto the Dragon, and you have to remember, this is the Soul.
Yeah, that's right. A really great catch out there and a good use of that paranoia to bait out ultimates from the side of Apex Mission Impossible. Now, Citadel, they have easy access to the Dragon's Soul. There will be no smite fight from Lojaz because he is on the gray screen. And now, CTG, they have a big buff in their back pockets with this Hextech Soul, and they are just that much more powerful and able to close this game.
Feeling a little bit one-sided now in this regard, but it is a little bit of an expected situation from CTG because this team is built to win this. It was personally a shock to see them lose that last qualifiers to Tempest, who ended up becoming Conviction and found themselves an awesome run at the end in the playoffs. But this is a team that felt like they should have been in NACL already, getting all those competitive games, getting all that momentum for themselves, and now they're feeling hungry as ever to make it back to that precipice.
That's right. I mean, you have a player like Bradley who has won NACL twice in the top lane playing for Team Liquid Challengers. Now, trying to make his move in the mid lane as they go for the Baron.
And there ain't going to be no fight left to give. Lojaz, he tried to find vision and ends up finding himself at a gray screen. That's Bradley stepping forward now as well, but they will just calculatedly go back to the Baron. Diamond stepping up in the front line. Bradley waiting. Bradley has a massive combo here. He's going to find damage on Pocus. Is it going to be enough? The severing bolt, it's not! The healing from the redemption is just going to save Pocus. Now they're trying to fight this one out. Baz waiting to pull the trigger. Decoy goes forward here. The Baron getting low, but it should just go to Kenby. CTG going to turn on the Decoy. Decoy found himself on the wrong side of the fight. Baz finally unleashes the lightning, but it's being put into a bottle and canned for the next game. CTG gonna find a double for Instinct.
I think they're looking for a little bit more, Mazel. They're gonna chase down these kills while Philip pushes out the top lane. And I think now, once they reset and use the gold they've gotten from these kills from this Baron, I think CTG are gonna put the finishing touches on this game. Honestly, respect. He's just wasting his time.
Well, that's not a signifier. He wants to auto attack him. Okay. He just QQ'd him. In the end, Bradley goes unstoppable. 5-1-5 on the way, and now almost 9,000 gold up for CTG in game 2.
Yeah, and it's so important that FiMini is desynced like that. Look, everyone on AMI are coming back online except for FiMini, who's down another 40 seconds. So it's going to give that opportunity for Citadel. Use these Hex Gates, make their way into AMI's jungle, and continue pressuring these waves to look for an opening to finish this game.
They're going to find the engage on Lojaz yet again. What was the tanky bastion for the team has turned into a paper-mache idol. And AMI will not have a frontliner left to give. And while CTG look oh so dominant here with that potential promotion right in their eyes, you also have to remember this is not all she wrote for AMI in this series or in this tournament, as they still have a best of 5 ahead of them, still have the reverse sweep potential, but also a second life in the tournament after this series. CTG gonna put the final wraps on this one and mummify AMI, put them down one more time. They're going to find the big smiley sprint's going to hit on everybody. No, it actually didn't in the end. They still find the pullback. They find another ace, and they find a clean game number 2.
And that CTG are only one step away from qualifying to the NACL Split 2, Mazel. The team we expected to make it happen easily. last split and weren't able to, are now making it look as easy as we expected it to be back then.
Yeah, and that's the craziest part here is like, you think what could have been if this team wasn't at ACL, if things were worked out the way they did, but you have to win when it matters most, and they did not. Now they're trying to make good on that, and it's looking damn good, I gotta say, across the board. I don't think there's a single member that hasn't been performing today, and it goes off the back of a very dominant performance yesterday as well in their 2-0 victory. And I think it's just a trend now with Citadel, and they have that eye on the prize. They have a lot of experience behind them. You have to think everybody on this team has been to that Tier 1 level or at least to NACL. And so it's crazy to think about what force they bring into it and how much they want this for themselves. We'll see if AMI can bring it back. Give us that sweet, sweet reverse sweep. After this break, we'll get game number 3. Oh, we're staying. We're staying. You're stuck with us. We're going to be here for a little bit longer because AMI, they need a little bit. No, just I do wonder. Do you think they end up choosing blue side here again?
Yeah, probably.
You think so?
I think so. I think
All
it'll
right,
be,
we'll see if they do. We'll find out on the other side of this break right here. We'll see you for game
real.
3. Welcome back, everyone, to the NACL Split 2 promotion tournament, where we have Citadel going 2-0 to start off this best of 5 against Apex Mission Impossible for a spot in split number 2. I'm Mazel, I'm joined by Beatdown, and what a series it's been so far. Very one-sided.
It has been, and while we've seen some good moments there from Apex Mission Impossible, Citadel Gaming, they just look like the team it's guaranteed to promote so far. There were good moments, again, like I was saying, but for the most part, Citadel, they're very consistent. The individual skill of all these players is pretty high, and I think that's been part of what's been helping them get advantages so far in these games. And yeah, now they're one step away from NACL Split 2.
And this game was a little bit of a departure from the bot lane strength that we've seen them utilize so far in the tournament itself, but it still was strength nonetheless. This time between Kenvi and Bradley. Really finding a lot of promise between those two. And it wasn't even the Nocturne Oriana. They weren't allowed to pick that. They went with the Hwei Nocturne, and Kenvi really leading off again. Second game in a row, at least, in finding the feats of warfare, at least early by himself, right? Having all 3 of the kills. And so I think that just leads off to where Kenvi is having a monster series, and this entire team is ready to promote into NACL.
Yeah, 100%. I think they're looking forward at this point. That confidence that Diamond has shown us, and that confidence I'm sure the whole team feels, is definitely well-founded. And again, it really shows in the gameplay we've seen from them so far. It isn't just that they're playing well individually. I think a lot of their group plays are really nice. They're very decisive. That comes with a lot of confidence from these players who've played the Tier 2 space for quite a long time. It's worth noting, none of these players, when they've played in NACL, have ever finished in the bottom half of the standings. Like, ever. Just to give you an idea of the experience these guys have had.
Yeah, Diamond talked about it a little bit yesterday on the interview, too. He's like, I've never been that low on the totem pole at NACL. And I'm not going to lose to a team that was that low on the totem pole at NACL.
Respect.
So far, they're making good on that right there. But I got to talk about AMI a little bit more. This is a team that was scrappy, that was taking moments in the NACL that kind of made you turn your head a little bit, right? They were having leads before 15 minutes against big teams. Unfortunately, unable to close that in the kind of mid-game, late-game decision-making. But this is a team that can find early advantages. They just haven't been able to so far this series yet.
Yeah, it's been tough. Even some of the few advantages they find, they aren't really able to take them anywhere, which is a difficult thing to do against a team like a Citadel Gaming. But now it's going to be hard because they're in a position where they got to reverse sweep if they want to win this series. Their backs are against the wall, and you got to imagine Citadel, they're not going to ease up on the pressure going into this potentially final game.
Yeah, I'm very curious at least what we end up seeing for this next game, if we do get that perfect reverse sweep set up for them. Or if we end up getting a closed series here. We do have an update on the other series as well. It's going about as one-sided as this one. Been checking in on it from time to time over on Agus Esports, but it's very interesting to see what maybe a little bit of a break and away from that competitive play and kind of the warm-up, at least the momentum that was gained by both of the qualifier teams coming into these series. Yeah,
and it's I mean, we had a bit of different expectations going on for this series. We have both of them going pretty quickly. There's still some pretty good talent on Dorado Gaming. Of course, worth noting Shochi, who's also had some pretty good performances in the NACL alongside players on the Citadel Gaming roster. And it's looking like they want to make quick work of Polestar as well and be the other team to qualify today.
Yeah, and they could do that. Exactly. Shochi had already said it. He called his shot. He said, I'm making it into NACL again today. We'll see if they do make good on that. Or forget maybe double reverse swips, which would be actually really hilarious. And honestly, perfect and par for the course for a pro mode tournament. We do have an update, though. AMI said we got to change something up. Something's got to give. Something's got to change. It's now or never. Give us red side, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, we did kind of talk about a little bit, mentioning how later on in the series, red side becomes more valuable. I was thinking more game 4 or 5, but in this situation where you want to get yourself the best draft you possibly can, I think red side might end up being ideal for them. You counter picks their solo laners, they get themselves good matchups so they can get some early leads.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really important what they get the counter pick for, how they're going to utilize that, because you have to be able to use this switch up to give yourself some momentum. Again, it's not done. You're not finished with the promo tournament after this, but this is the moment, man. It's a one and done, best of 5. Get it done, get back in. And I know that means a lot for Apex Mission Impossible there. a lot of eyes set on that continued growth for this team that they definitely showed throughout the regular season. Now, Citadel on that blue side maybe changing up their bans just a little bit, as the Tristana is going to be the first ban, followed by the Yone. It's still going to be the Jace on the side of AMI.
Yeah, I mean, those are two big picks there, 4-5 mini, actually in particular, so I think it makes sense. I know Baz plays Tristana as well. So you just want to get rid of, again, strong picks. That Apex Mission Impossible I want to be going for. I can't imagine otherwise we'll see anything too insane in that first rotation ban. Again, I think for AMI, it's about counterpicking those solo laners, making sure they can have the best matchups possible, making it easier for Lojaz to be able to play out that early jungle game, and also get leads for them that they can turn into wins.
And that's an important factor. And Lojaz, a lot of the time, was the one finding those early game leads for them. I do wonder if he gets his hands on Xin Zhao this time around, as that's been something that's been fluttering in the bans over and over again throughout the series, but one of the best picks for him in the regular season. The Wukong is going to be banned away on that blue side as the final ban for Citadel. We'll see that Talia, just like the other bans from the side of AMI, and the Callista also going to be taken off the table.
Wow. So Azir surprisingly ends up being up. I mean, with the Yone ban at 2, you knew Citadel were angling for it, and it's just going to go right there for Bradley. In the mid lane, really strong. It did get nerfed on this patch.
It did. You
did lose out on some movement speed, a little bit of attack speed growth, but I think in 5s, it's not as big of a nerf as it might seem in solo queue.
True. But now you got to find the rebuttal. What's the response from AMI? You got a 1-2 punch here. It's got to be a swift one. It's got to be a strong one. Yeah. And they go with the Vi that has been locked away from them time and time again. I gotta say that Xin Zhao is up. And the way that the nerfs and things have played out, I still really like the Xin Zhao side of that matchup.
Yeah, though it's worth noting, Nautilus is still up, so maybe they want like a big CC combo just for some easy, really guaranteed plays. And Mazel, there might be something there.
Might as well, man. Just go for the setup, because it's got to be around this mid-jungle duo, as they're going to go with the Ezreal.
And I know Baz likes the Ezreal as well, something mobile, especially into the Azir. I think it's going to feel pretty good. And it does make me, again, kind of think Focus is angling for something like the Nod, where you want to be able to get out of lane, let Ezreal do his 1v2 thing because he can do it pretty well enough, sync up with Lojaz to be able to try and find value elsewhere.
I think it's a very strong, at least, strategy for AMI to try to utilize with the strengths that we've seen them use before. But the Varus had been something that was banned away earlier in the series, is going to be let through. And that's a very tough one because it provides utility, but also a ton of carry potential for Instinct.
Yeah, I mean, right away, Citadel Gaming, you can see the damage is there. Whether it's poke Varus, whether it's on-hit Varus, they definitely have a lot to go for here. And you got to imagine this is just going to be a very simple front-to-back comp. I imagine Philip is going to play another tank-like champion. I think the Poppy, honestly, is pretty good. Right now, we don't see many dashes. At the moment, it's really just Vi, but you imagine they're angling for something like Ahri in the mid lane too, so I think Poppy already just has a lot of value, putting pressure on what AMI want to pick for the rest of the draft.
And that's going to have to come up sooner rather than later. I do really like the Poppy. I think it can still be a little flexible there, but figuring out, especially if it's going to be Kenvy's. I really like Kenvy's Poppy. The Karma is going to be locked in as that kind of double poke bot lane.
Yeah, so it does give you some lane advantage there, a lot of damage. And there is that bit of shielding. I mean, Karma pairs nicely with fighters as well. It is going to make it easier for Lojaz to be able to stay in these skirmishes longer, get more rotations of spells off too, and potentially get some lane advantages, especially if that ends up being a support Poppy.
Yeah. I think that fluctuation is going to be super, but they think that it is going to be that jungle Poppy. They're going to take away that Nautilus as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I can appreciate it. But is it going to be continued kind of lockdown focuses for AMI as their final ban later on?
It could be. Maybe they want to get rid of Leona. Something along those lines as well, because you need some more all-in. Poppy is pretty good solo tank. You do have Varus ult, but I think to just make it more consistent, guaranteed, I imagine Diamond is going to go for something engage centered. I like the Ahri ban, even though they do have the Poppy. I think that's probably the best combo left since Talia is out of the picture.
True.
It does mean 5 mini is going to have to pick something else.
Oh, man. I'm so curious. Okay, it's the Aatrox ban, so it's Philip. That's a little bit of a throwback, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. See what the final ban is going to be from CTG.
Ah, true. Gwen is still up. Nerfed on this patch, still viable. But maybe not as first pick as it used to be beforehand, but still a strong champion. Just removing scaling options there. And again, would have been nice with the Karma as well with fighter champions. So I like it. Now at this point, I think it's just going to end up being... Oh, it's oh, okay,
All
fun.
right, we're cooking.
We are cooking, but I feel bad for LoJazz because I'm just getting this feeling that Lennon, he's going in by himself. Nobody's helping
That's not
him.
what you want to hear.
I know.
That's where,
I
like, we want them to be able to play with LoJazz. I feel like
buddy.
he has some good decision making there as well. Ooh, that's tough. We'll see. A little bit of a hover there from Instinct.
Yeah, I like that one.
If you know, you know. The Ambessa is going to be the lock-in for Philip, so he's going to try to take a little bit of aggressive stance, and there's still the counter pick there available for Decoy.
Yeah. And I think that honestly would have been a champion AMI would have been really happy to get because via Ambessa, that's pretty good too. So again, you just remove a potential option there. I think at this point, if Decoy goes tank too, it'll probably be he'll probably have a harder time in lane, even though it'll work out well in team fights. But again, I need more engage from AMI's composition.
It's got to be something big as the Rel locked in as well. Gonna have that jungle Poppy and a ton of ins and outs in team fights for the side of Citadel. I'm very curious how they utilize that. I think it can be really important. The Shen is going to be there. Pretty OP pick there. Can join the Vi in a lot of these fights as well. And has that partner now to go in.
That's literally perfect. All I really wanted. No notes. Vi ults in. Shen can just ult right on top. And that's that extra tank presence as well. You need someone to soak up at least some of the damage Citadel Gaming are going to do. And I will say AMI, they do have ways to kind of play this comp out because they have range, they have poke, and they have a lot of burst damage when these all-ins come through. So while I was a bit worried, I think they rounded out the comp well enough.
I am curious though, because I'm just going to lay out some bricks here to start it off.
Let's see.
I was talking about all the ins and outs that Citadel have on their side, right? Like they have the Poppy. If you're both coming in as the Vi Shen and you get Keeper's Verdict, you're literally leaving a Karma and Ezreal and a Ziggs all by themselves in these fights. There's a lot of gives and takes.
Yeah,
the mechanical skill ceiling of Citadel might benefit them here with the way they pick their comps and might benefit them to get that damn ticket in the NACL because it's do or die right now in this series. If you want that ticket today, for AMI, they've got to turn it around. They've got to get a reverse sweep because they want to stop CTG from achieving their goals. That small step in the plan of making it to NACL. Game 3 to potentially decide the series starts now.
That's right, AMI. They want to go into NACL today. It's going to have to start right here because win and you're in is the name of today in both of our matches. So we'll see. And again, a lot of this pressure is going to be on LoJazz in this early game to be able to find some value there. And Pocus, I think. Because while you do have some pretty good lane dominance with the Ezreal Karma into this matchup, I mean, roams are going to be really important too. Fighting with LoJazz, shielding him up, just allowing him to stay in these fights a little bit longer will provide a lot of value as well.
It's going to be a lot of kind of flexible moments in this one, I feel like, especially with the comp that AMI have drafted for themselves. I really am interested about the Ziggs mid and see how 5 Mini is going to be able to pilot that one, especially because you typically like something that can kind of be a little bit more aggressive with the combination with the Vi and really get that mid-jungle duo off the ground. But we'll have the poke to kind of keep Bradley at bay in a lot of cases. So we'll see how that all works out. But I think it's really teed off by these junglers. Kenvi on his Poppy versus LoJazz on the Vi that had been banned away for a lot of this series.
That's right, in this critical moment, he's able to get his hands on this champion. And we got to see if he's going to be able to deliver on it. So long the facilitator that we've dubbed him for this team, and even the qualifiers casters have done so as well. Before AMI qualified for NACL Split 1. He's going to need to facilitate a hell of a lot this game because Bradley is on the Azir champion he knows very intimately and plays very well on. And Instinct is playing on the Varus, which continues to be a very strong pick this year.
Crazy to me how much priority Varus has had so far. I mean, he is just really versatile with a couple builds he can go. Kenvi, good for a level 3 gank potentially. Gonna try to force Baz and Pocus to be extra aggressive. They might have the angle. The wall bang. The
Nice.
CC beautifully timed. And I talked about execution. Well, I gotta say, Pocus just got executed.
Yeah, honestly, the Q flash from Diamond was what really set that one up. As soon as Pocus realized what was happening, he could have flashed away, but Diamond prevents him from doing so. Instinct gets first blood, and it's a great first gank coming through here from Kenby.
The timing, beautiful. I love it because it didn't even look like it was that good of an angle. They forced it. They just went with their flashes, and that will be down. But the thing is, both of them have a Hex Flash. That's the beautiful thing about the Poppy is you can have this Hex Flash potential. And this all started off with the bait from Diamond to force them forward.
Yeah, you can see it. It's actually the flash Q, but it sets up Kenby to get a really easy wallbang with that Poppy E. There's really no way to do anything about it there. I mean, the fact that Diamond didn't Q before flashing does mean that Pocus, he had a small window to flash that one out. So, he can be a little critical there, but still, it's a good play.
Now we take a look at it, and there's going to be this poke Varus, the lethality side of things, and having the early lead on poke Varus is so good. CTG going to catch Decoy, overextended, already burned his flash, and Kenby finds help on the map again. Already has 2 kills for CTG and full 100% KP as well. Really running the map is Citadel.
Yeah, and while Lojaz has been farming really well, it's going to be even able to take the respawn Raptors from Kenby. At the end of the day, there's so much value that Kenby's been able to generate from these ganks, and it just really shows the flexibility he has as a player. He plays more carry-oriented champions like Nocturne, like Pantheon is able to stack golden kills into a win, and now he's playing Poppy. He's sacrificing farm, but he is getting leads for his laners.
Can be the carry and can be the facilitator. He's immediately.
He can do it all.
Yeah, get you a jungler that can do both.
Yes.
He is going to go for an aggressive stance here into Lojaz, though, taking away maybe some of his chickens, but it is going to be a contested one. See who gets first move from mid. Right now on map, it looks like Mini will be the first one to join and is going to be. Kenby is forced out of that invade play. Just going to go back, wrap around down to his bot side. Dragon is up on the table with that TP coming back out. Bradley will have some at least pressure in mid lane. And with the priority they've already gained in bot lane, I think it could be that first Dragon for Citadel.
Probably. And you can see that advantage Instincts and Diamond are getting. It's just about whether or not Kenby actually wants to go for it. I think in terms of Drakes and scaling, I'm not sure either team are particularly going to outscale the other. I don't think either one is desperate for that Dragon Soul. So you're seeing Kenby just go for the recall now instead of actually forcing that objective.
Maybe a little bit of a late gank on bot side, but not going to go for it just yet. Both junglers have gotten their backs off and going on their second tiers now as well. And that means Grubs getting ever closer in about 2 minutes. I do wonder if we end up getting a trade of those early objectives, but do you have a favorite? I mean, I know I do. Do you have a favorite side that Grubs should be kind of fought for?
Do you mean like which side has it easier
should have Grubs? I feel like if you give Ziggs Grubs, I guess they are going to get a chance though. Lojaz.
So there you go.
Just caught out. Really unfortunate there, and that will be Feats of Warfare completed. I'm just going to say, Kenby, 100% KP on Feats of Warfare so far in this entire series. He had 3 assists. He got each one of his laners a kill. How good is that?
It's pretty good, Lennon. And it really just goes to what we've been saying, that Kenby does best when you have a team that plays for him. Yeah, this time around he's playing the Poppy, so it is a bit more of that facilitating role. But again, it's around the things he wants to do, Lennon. It's around the angles he can find. And that's where a lot of Citadel gaming success has come from, and why Kenby's been able to perform so well.
He's a guy that, if they are to win here, I'm very excited to see back where he rightfully belongs in the NACL. Honestly, he rightfully belongs in the LTA, but he's got to make those steps back to that moment. Lojaz in trouble now again. Gets the flash wall bang from Kenby. Will flash himself. There's the
Here.
stand
Oh,
United
level
is going to be used. Season assist coming in as well. They might have enough damage to take on Kenvi. Kenvi, though, is going to get fully 100-0 there. Lojaz gets the response kill. Philip now maybe overextending. They got the Mega Inferno Bomb from 5 Mini as well, so he got an assist on it too, as the Vault Breaker was probably coming up soon, but they won't follow through with it. AMI get themselves on the board, Beat.
Yeah, really nice turn, and you're seeing the payoff from Lojaz getting that lead early on, because he's able to get level 6 first. Decoy is able to join with the ult. Now we have a fight bot.
Oh. Ooh. Unfortunate. That does look like the 2v2 going the way of CTG. That early kill on bot side paying off.
Yeah, big time. Now I'm wondering, too, if we're going to see lane swap from either bot lane, but it's looking like neither ADs are actually even leaving lane. So it's looking like because of that top play, Kenvi is going to be able to have an easy time because everyone's resetting to collect these grubs. There isn't really anyone to respond. While I agree with you, Ziggs, who already demolished his turret so well, getting grubs would be huge. Looks like he's not allowed to.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's always a little bit of feels bad moment for any Ziggs ever, but it will just mean the CTG continue control of this map. I mean, that's full grubs for a comp that's going to have a really good time sieging. You think about the Varus with all the poke, but more importantly, Bradley, once he hits those couple items here, there's no doubt his first item is going to be the Nashor's Tooth, and meanwhile, no doubt there's about to be a fight here. Diamond doesn't have level 6 yet, but still has the crash down, and Bradley, he's level 8, by the way. He's looking for his own angle, maybe a little bit of a Shurima shuffle coming through, but it will just be the shifting sands to claim the kill for Bradley.
Yeah, and I mean, they chased that one for a long time, Ledin. They know Focus didn't have flash. They were going to get him eventually. And top lane, Decoy forced the flash in an unseen engagement. Philip getting the better of him so far in this 1v1. I think that kill that he got early on really helped.
It's, you know, I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know if anybody else has seen this. I have a GIF in Discord that's from all the way back at 100 Thieves Next, where Kenvi is a firefighter training four other firefighters, and it's like tenacity and instinct and like everybody all over the place, and he's going to each one and making sure they're okay. I'm getting that here with this game. Those are the feelings right now, and Kenvi is just dictating a lot of the map as we see AMI try to dictate something on the bottom side of the map. Kenvi is going to be right here. Maybe they get the kill in time. Instinct, he's still up, finally dies. Tries to get the Keeper's Verdict in there. Kenvi can no longer push forward. He wasn't there in time to save that firefighter, and Instinct is gone.
Yeah, nice catch out there from Lojaz. Good use of the cease and desist. Gets Instinct Summoner spells, and they kill him anyway. So that's going to be something to take advantage of in the next couple of minutes. We'll see if they want to take that angle. It's worth noting, neither team really cares about Dragon Soul this game. We've had a lot of Dragon fights so far, Mazel, but Game 3, we're 10 minutes, 30 seconds, and no one's even looked at it.
That's the crazy part about the development in this series. I mean, you don't need to focus on that super heavily if you feel like you're super confident in it, and CTG definitely are that way. But they are going to move there now. There's some pings going that way from both sides, some vision play there already in place by CTG. Pocus poking down onto Diamond a little bit. Diamond's still not level 6 yet. Pocus has hit that level 6 mark. The Dragon already started up by Citadel.
Yeah, it looked like Lojaz showed himself topside. So it's going to give Citadel all they need to say, okay, no one's going to fight us for this Drake. And if they do, I'm Poppy. I can yeet them away, so it doesn't matter. So that's first Drake finally going down here. And because, again, that timer, bot lane for AMI could be in danger as well if they want to try and force this dive. But it's looking like they don't. Kenvi's going to back, spend his gold, and we're just back to our lanes.
First items are going to be there, honestly, for both sides, though. I mean, you have the Shojins for Philip. You have the Nashor's Tooth that I was talking about for Bradley. A little bit of stop off on the Swifties there for Instinct, so they're going to be a little bit behind on that. But you already have 5 Mini and Lojaz completing their first items on their side. So still going to have some strength to fight back with here. But no objectives on the map for a while until that Rift Herald / Dragon comes up once again.
That's right. I think Rift Herald is where we're going to be having our focus. And Philip, you okay? That threw me off there for a second. But he's still winning out in the trade, so I guess it doesn't matter. We'll call it calculated. And otherwise, yeah, I think sights are set on the Herald that's coming up in a few minutes' time. I'm expecting we'll see more interest from these teams, rotating their bot lanes, maybe getting a swap going on to just try and secure that neutral objective.
And what a story it would be for Citadel to find that promotion here. The first day that it's possible.
Yeah.
I know it's a goal that they've all had in mind. They wanted to be there that last split. They wanted to get all that competitive experience, but fell just a tad short, and now they will stand tall in this series. Once again, Kenvi finds a pick.
Yeah, and again, to your point, Lennon, I think it's really something to credit for players who have done so well in the NACL in the past. Again, none of these players have placed below in the bottom half ever. I think there's something commendable about, you know, being at that level in NACL, maybe starting to knock on the doors of Tier 1, and falling back down to Tier 3, losing your spot on your team, having to kind of build your way back up, and doing so. That commitment is very respectable. And I appreciate that, you know, players of this caliber, they still want to be in the system. They still want to work their way up to LTA, especially now with promotion relegation being possible at the LTA level. It's a great thing to see.
There's a lot of weight on that spot in NACL in split number 2. And especially now with Near Airport bowing out as well. Instinct is the target. Diamond trying to save him here. The Stand United, the combo is there, and it pays off. Decoy gets the kill.
Yeah, and that's the dive buddy that we needed. Decoy fulfilling his role very well. Instinct. Again, they recognized his flash wasn't quite up yet, so nice on AMI to track that summoner spell. Take him out.
Baz is starting to do some serious work now with the Trinity Force, and as time goes on, I still very much like the Ezreal over the Varus, especially the poke-style Varus. And honestly, give or take on the Ziggs a little bit more so on the Azir at least. Meanwhile, Decoy ended up getting back towards topside and gonna use an exit from Philip onto Lojaz. The public execution gets out of dodge.
I like it, very fancy, and Philip, I mean, all it costs is his ult, and he's gonna walk away like nothing happened. And that time wasted again gives an opportunity somewhere else.
CTG, as they went over the wall, they saw focus. They're like, oh, well, I don't know if we necessarily would go for 5 mini here. We'll end up getting the flash out of Pocus. Did end up burning the flash on Kenvi and Diamond, but again, they have those Hex flashes up. And all is quiet on the map, but a reset coming through for either the Rift Herald or the Dragon coming up shortly.
That's right. Now, Herald is looking like it's up. Now we can see that Lojaz is first to be here, but the Instinct and Baz, excuse me, have already moved to that mid lane. I think Lojaz, when his ult comes up, he's going to probably be looking for another play like what we saw in mid lane as well. I think being able to get that first kill for AMI is just going to make their chances on the Herald that much easier.
Try to find as much as you can before the big fight tees off. Already CTG getting that crash in the top side. There's a response there, but they won't be able to save the turret. First turret goes down to Citadel. That does mean they have full control of the map, and now they also have the feats of strength. Kenvi doesn't get spotted out there. And almost finds the angle on 5 mini, but it was a little bit of a ships in the night situation. Now Kenvi, that's no longer a ship in the night, that's a ship in full vision. Lojaz takes him down. Now Bradley's the focus. Bradley's in a 1v2. He can't get through there. Now meanwhile, Instinct finds the kill on the bottom side of the fight. Baz and Instinct going blow for blow here. Is it going to be enough? He dodged out the Mystic shot. Meanwhile, Bradley falls. Instinct trying to take him down.
Wow!
Play! Decoy finds the upset, finds the kills, and that's Diamond also getting chased under turret here. Baz tries to get him, but a double kill for Decoy. AMI, they're alive.
Oh, they are alive and they are thriving, Mazel. To be able to win on both sides like that is such a big deal. To be able to get gold on 5 mini, get some gold on Baz as well, and allow themselves to get this Rift Herald. Such a big advantage for them, and as long as this TP, yeah, wow, you're going to see 5 mini, he's just going to have to TP away, which, I mean, it's a trade of teleports, it's not bad. But still, AMI, they take the lead for the first time this game. Now they're up 1K, now they have a Herald to play for to collect even more gold.
Yeah, that might be the first lead they've had since game number 1 as well. Absolutely incredible to make that decision. Decoy, game 1, liability, I'm not going to lie. Game 2, much better. Game 3, he's carrying. The shit is looking so damn good for Decoy, and the combinations, the kind of plan that they set with themselves with this draft, it's paying off.
Big time. Now, Citadel, they're going to try and trade on the other side here with the Dragon. going to be their second. So even though they're halfway to a soul, it is slow going just because of how late they've taken each one. But it's kind of small compared to what AMI have been able to get. At the very least, they cover Bradley to be able to take a bottom tier 1 turret as well. So it's going to minimize that lead just a little bit. It's going to all be about what LoJazz can do with that Rift Herald that he's sitting on.
Yeah, try to get some of that standing gold going as well. I mean, he's already on 2 items, speaking of, and going to have a little bit more strength with that Black Cleaver. I really like these 2 item spikes once they come online for AMI, and they can feel really confident stepping forward.
Yeah. They're going to be really good. Now Decoy, I like the angle that he's taken. They actually could make a play onto Diamond, but instead, he's just hovering in case something goes down. Oh, here we go.
Second item completed for Bradley. He can't TP, so he has to walk all the way here. The Rift Herald's going to charge and take this turret down. Another charge coming through to escape from LoJazz. Maybe go down towards this bot side. There were already pings going down that way. The rest of the team's going to try to join him here. The big thing, though, is that Rallies has been completed for Bradley. That is a massive spike for the Azir. As we see, LoJazz's driving skills do work out in the end. Won't end up getting the turret for it, but Bradley will be here to defend.
Still, he got the damage, so pretty high value Rift Herald, all things considered. Right now, Philip trying to walk away. I don't think anything's going to come of this. So, right, I think AMI pretty happy with this. They're getting closer to those 2 item spikes you had mentioned, Mazel. And I think once this next dragon comes up, they'll be really comfortable to go for these 5v5 team fights. I think LoJazz and Decoy have been doing a pretty good job this game, setting up these plays, at finding carries like Instinct, and even Kenvi at times, to be able to pick them off.
And it's feeling a little bit topsy-turvy for CTG. Wondering where that cleanliness went to from game number 1 and 2, but we're finally seeing some of that life that AMI we were promised coming into this one. As AMI did have a lot of interesting moments, a lot of interesting stories throughout, even if it ended in them being here in the promo relegation tournament. It was one of the teams that, you know, they were at like 5 and 6 for a decent amount of the opening parts of the split. So see if they can at least get good on that one. This isn't their final life, but in this series, this game is their final life. They are starting to get to those second item spikes, though.
Yeah, again, a win here would just be so big because if you lose today, you're going to have to play a best of 3 and then another best of 5 to potentially qualify with that last available spot. So, I mean, it's just better to win today and get yourself locked in. A hot take, I know, Lennon. And that's what AMI are up against right now, having to reverse sweep if that's ever going to be possible. And Citadel Gaming just really close, 1 step away from locking in that spot.
Got to give a huge shout out real quick. We got breaking news. As on the other series, Dorado Gaming has qualified for the NACL. And that is incredible. Congratulations to Dorado Gaming as we're going to focus back in on this series. Just had to get the update as it happened. And that's a banger for sure. Shochi making good on his statement as he has so many times before. But in this one, AMI trying to keep steady. They still have this lead they developed, but they are faltering in the objective control. Now they got to figure out how they're going to find a standing ground here as Pocus, maybe caught out, is going to make his way out. Does have the speed up from the shield. Now it's maybe CTG getting caught. They end up pulling the trigger right on the LoJazz, though. A lot of damage coming down. That Inferno Bomb going to be flashed out by Kenby's. Instinct claims the kill, at least on the LoJazz. And that will be the gold lead going back to CTG.
And again, like it's dicey. Without Decoy joining with the Stand United, those dives just aren't as effective there from LoJazz, even if he's ahead of the curve with that second item coming through here. So he ults, he goes in there, he falls, and now with Dragon being less than a minute away and the pressure Bradley has here on this top side, Citadel should have a pretty easy time setting up for this Drake.
Should at least.
Should.
Play with his food. You know, just play a little bit up on the Ezreal, feeling really confident there. He is on 2 items now. That is a big spike for the Ezreal. But that Dragon, the Soul Point, it's so funny to me how important Soul Point is. I mean, Soul Fight is obviously the most important thing. Yeah. The amount of decision-making power you can get from having Soul Point, especially with a composition like the side CTG has, on an Infernal Soul, I mean, that's just going to feel really hard to come back from, and I hope to see AMI be able to put up a little bit of a fight here now that they do have these completions on their side.
Yeah, we'll see. For the moment, Decoy, he's walking towards topside. Of course, he has teleport. He does have Stand United. He has 2 ways to join these skirmishes. As right now, you have the dance coming through here, mid lane into that bottom river, but it's AMI who are going to get that first touch on the mid and should give them a bit of an advantage setting up for the Drake. Oh, they're just going to drop the wave. Okay,
yeah,
respect.
see how the addition is going to work out here from Decoy and Philip. They're walking down. No TP is going to be there. Stand United available. Philip was potentially targeted, but they're going to burn the dragon. You got to remember, Bradley does a ton of damage here with this Gnasher's Tooth already completed. Instinct going to come around the corner as well. Philip on the flank of a lifetime. Is it going to be nearly enough? Although AMI feeling dicey, they go for Philip instead. They give over the dragon, and now Philip has bought so much time, but is it going to be enough? CTG are rallying, but they don't find the defense of their top laner. So it's a dragon for 1 member, and now AMI, they cut them off at the pass. They're going to fight a 5-man almost from Diamond. He did that for show, and Bradley did that for good. As that's going to be 4-man right there, pushed back. The Sun Disc is still fighting, as they're going to get over the wall. Kendi goes for the wall bang. Here comes Lojaz, though. Is it going to be enough? Big combo from him. Baz popping shots now. He finds Diamond. Gonna find another Mystic shot. A double kill for Baz. And they find the sustained fight over CTG. And now that's going to be the mid lane inhib turret available to them.
Yeah, now they're going to immediately teleport top as well to knock down the top tier 1. So that is a big gold in that sequence coming through from Apex Mission Impossible. TP to save it, but it's going to be tough. Philip, he's going up against many people.
Also TP'd.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, we got a little
They're
crazy
trying to
here.
get Bradley over here, but yeah, I mean, Philip way overextended there. Was hoping to combo with Bradley, but there was no saving grace there.
I think he really thought that Bimini was the only one there, and unfortunately he was proven wrong very, very quickly. So I think Citadel probably bit off more than they could chew there. I really think losing Philip for that dragon initially is worth it in the end, because you're right. The decision-making power of having a soul point is huge. If they're able to secure that Infernal Soul, it would be a huge boon for them to be able to win this game. But instead, they give away more kills than necessary. They drop many turrets in the process. So it actually gave a big gold advantage to AMI, who are sitting at 35 gold right now, and are in a position where they could absolutely go for the Tauntaun.
And I got to say, we haven't once seen a big keeper's verdict come through to deny a lot of access. I mean, they only have 2 tanks that are coming in on top of each other. We haven't seen that yet. I said the threshold of execution, at least for CTG, was very difficult in this one, but it could look really good. In AMI, they've wrote the ship. They've gotten themselves to a point where they're on these 2 or 3 items, and they can just play this kind of front-to-back setup that they have. No, public execution, speaking of, they're not going to have that front-to-back here. Focus is the focus here now. He will just get burned, but it won't be enough. There's the Chains of Corruption going in, but 5-Mini has an angle. I mean, Bradley is there, but he's just getting chunked down. The CTG just don't have the damage right now. Lojaz helped find another one, and they've just had Baz popping this entire time. He's getting a little bit lower. Nice flash play from Lojaz as Kenby's getting low now too. He's about to see the sunset, but he does get away. CTG's comp pushed to the brink here.
Wow, that is pretty crazy that all that only amounts to a 1-for-1, but I think those Karma Shields help sustain them enough. I thought they were going to go for the Baron, but I guess they don't feel confidently about their ability to take it down. So instead, they're going to back. Citadel Gaming are going to have that chance to reset, clear some waves. But this is a really scrappy Game 3, Mazel. This is kind of what I was hoping for most of this series. But I think it took a few games for AMI to wake up.
Baz, man, he is just untouched in so many of these fights. We were wondering when this guy was going to show up. He was a big focus for me in this one, especially with how strong Instinct and Diamond had been. He gets his Ezreal, and it's starting to look damn good. He's on 3 items now with the Shojins completed, and he has so much more sustained damage than Instinct will ever have in this one. And it means AMI can feel really confident with that front-to-back setup.
And right now, they're using that setup to see what plays they can find in that mid lane. Again, the play for AMI is really simple. Lojaz goes in for a cease and desist. Decoy follows him, and that should usually turn into a kill. I think that's why you're seeing Instinct stand where he is. He has to play really respectfully, as he's been caught out by that many times. And he needs to use that to allow his side laners to be able to push out these waves to give his team that opportunity to actually interact with the mid lane.
And this objective is finally feeling like one where CTG are the underdogs in this fight, that they don't have an easy way in. See if they can get the setup around it to maybe soften that blow a little bit. But it's going to be all about mid lane prio here from both teams ahead of this dragon in 30 seconds.
That's right. Citadel Gaming, they secure this dragon. That is their Infernal Soul and would be a big turning point for them in this game. The lethality bars would be so much stronger. The burst damage from Bradley, so much stronger. Even Philip on the M-Pesa. They would do so much more damage in these team fights, excuse me. I think that will eat up the lead AMI have worked for.
I mean, they got to do something about it. They can burn it very quickly. Bradley will have a ton of damage here. Lojaz going to step in. Although Diamond had not been seen, they think that he's over there. Philip, look at the pincer. This is a little bit offset from CTG. I think they have to hone this in. They have to get back on the same side of things as Philip. Going to walk the long way around. It's a true 50-50 between Lojaz and Kenby. Kenby looking to get back in the NACL. Looking to get that promotion ticket here and now. But AMI, they do not want to go. There's the keeper's verdict. True shot barrage and Lojaz is down. The front to back has failed. The gates are broken. And CTG, they find the fight, find the dragon, and they find the soul.
Wow, big fight. You wanted the big keeper's verdict, and Kenby made it happen, Lennon. Right when it counted, he boots Decoy out of the fight. He's able to do nothing the entire time. So that's it. Infernal Soul confirmed. Two big objectives still up to fight for, and Citadel Gaming, they find their way to hold on.
What a way to do it. The captain, when he needs it most, comes in big, and what a tense fight. I mean, you could see how AMI wanted to enter that fight, but as soon as Decoy is gone, it becomes so much more difficult to be this frontliner as Lojaz, and he just got completely bursted out because, like you said in the draft, you have a one-way ticket a lot of the time as the VIDE. There ain't nobody else that's taking that ticket with you other than Decoy, and unfortunately, once he's in the air, you are down.
That's right. So now, so much damage, big buff, permanent buff for Citadel Gaming. And now in their back pockets to be able to use in this team fights, especially good for this lethality Varus. Like the burst from those piercing arrows is about to be ridiculous. And now Citadel, they're going to use this power to control this top side of the map, because that's really all that's going to matter these next couple of minutes. Baron, Otacon, these are the ways that Citadel can look to close this game out with.
And third items, aplenty for both sides, honestly. But really getting this Fereldias and Bradley getting the Zanyas now as well. Kenby's going to be the target right now by Lojaz. Everything sent at him. Not much going to hit. Not much damage connects. And Diamond goes for the re-engage down. Lojaz desperate. Trying to get out. The public execution. And it's about to live up to the namesake as the piercing arrow pierces his heart. And so
they
too,
got it.
The hearts of AMI. You might be singing to the wolves, but you're singing to your grave as another one bites the dust. A triple kill for Instinct.
And that's crazy. I think the pressure is coming through for AMI. Lojaz goes in for something that Decoy could not follow him on. The Stand United not available, and Citadel play that fight out beautifully. Now they have the Baron. They can go to the Otacon next, and they have everything they need, Lennon. I don't think this game's going to make it to the Elder
That was
Dragon.
close. A little bit close, as that's going to be the double big buffs going the way of CTG. The lead holistically transferring over into the bank accounts of Citadel Gaming. And that is the kind of comeback you'll love to see from a team that's looking to push the mantle of NACL.
That's right, and you can see this fight again. You do see that follow-up there with the Mega Inferno Bomb, but it's really just not enough to take down a Diamond or Kenby. And really, you called it out, that public execution from Philip that was able to follow them into that backline, prevent anyone else from helping Lojaz, was really what just cinched that fight.
And just really good target selection there from the entirety of CTG as the kind of selection on top of the power spike that they had gotten from those three items is just so perfectly synced. And now with that lead, you have Serpent's Fang completed for Instinct. All of that shielding, all of that extra survivability that AMI had is out the window now.
Yeah, true. Nice item pickup there for Instinct, who's now level 16. So that ult is going to be able to give him a bit of extra damage there at rank 3. But now with this Baron in tow, another minute of it left. You can could see Decoy angling for some kind of play, but I think Citadel, they're going to play carefully. Just knock down all these outer turrets, collect as much gold as they can before they go for the final push.
Decoy going for a little bit of fight onto Philip. From the bastion of the enemy jungle, Instinct just sieging out onto AMI's base. More turrets falling, more base being turned to ash here. Citadel look to set up their own base here in the NACL and rip that away from AMI, at least at the moment. Again, AMI will have another life, but this is the one you wanted. This is the first day. You could just be done with it here and see Decoy go in onto everybody here. Philip almost dies at the end. True Shot Barrage comes back across. And it's going to be a back from both top laners, but the siege is still present from CTG.
Yeah, and at this point too, yeah, you want to just be looking for recalls, I think. You earned so much gold as Citadel Gaming. I think you just want to spend it if you can, and then get yourself set up for that final push. But I think they just want to squeeze out everything they can from this Baron. There's one more tier 2 left, and it's looking like they want to focus on taking that one down instead.
And even more gone. That Baron buff has gotten so much gold for them.
Yeah.
Only about 20 seconds left on that, but the reset's going to come through here. And AMI, they need a defense of a lifetime if they want to stay alive in this series. They had gotten so close to having a commanding lead, finally waking up into the series, but now backs against the wall.
That's right. Now, again, you can see Philip on the minimap looking for some kind of angle here. It's looking like the game will go to Elder. Oh, hold on.
Okay. Maybe going for the fight here. Oh, Decoy. He's getting all the CC chained onto him.
Oh,
and
they got him.
No wallbang. Kenby maybe just saved him. Public execution goes on to low jazz though, as Kenby just uses the stunner and won't end up finding Decoy. Mega Inferno Bomb will go out, but won't find the kill, and neither will the True Shot Barrage.
Wow, Decoy gets by the skin of his teeth, but still, that pressure means he's going to have to back. It will allow Citadel to push in this mid wave a little further, and you can see on the minimap, they just have the better setup going into this Elder Dragon. It's looking like I was wrong. We will go to Elder, and that's going to be the decider, Mazel. Whoever's going to be able to pick up this Dragon. Citadel with their big lead, if they get it, of course they can close it out, but if AMI, it's considered the great equalizer for a reason. They could use it to catch up and win.
That's all you need is that one moment. Strike when the iron is hot, as AMI are going to be first to the puzzle. How will they find the pieces? How will they put them down? Diamond takes the puzzle, throws it off the table, and says, AMI, what you gonna do about it? He takes them down. Low Jazz no longer in the fight, and that just means AMI are turned to dust. 5 Mini is gonna be absolutely obliterated by Bradley, and CTG are just writing down the paperwork now. They're getting ready to sign that seal and put themselves into the NACL.
Elder Schmelder, Citadel are just going to win the game, Mazel, just like that. And you said it. They've qualified. They've punched their ticket. And alongside Dorado, Citadel Gaming, they look like they're NACL bound.
Diamond will keep good on his promise. Say he does not lose to low-placed NACL teams. They don't drop a single game in the promos. They find that big undefeated streak to mark their name in NACL. The goal they all knew was coming later down the road. They will have a shot at LTA at the end of this year.
And things, while they did get dicey in that third game, Mazel, at the end of the day, I think the experience and skill from these players ended up shining through. It was a little tough, but at the end of the day, Diamond, like you said, made good on his promise. I think even though they overstepped on some of these plays, I think they learned their lesson and kind of adapted during that game to understand how AMI wanted to play out the draft and just not let them do it.
And how crazy is it? Yes, there's double elim. Absolutely. Polestar and AMI, they have another chance. 2-3-0s by our qualifier team. Absolutely incredible. It just shows the skill and the level that is waiting for these teams in Tier 3, waiting to claim their spots. And I know, you know, it's going to mean a lot for Citadel to make it to that precipice.
Yeah, and with that in mind too, we have 2 new orgs into NACL as well, which is exciting. We have a chance to see a returning org come through as we go through the lower bracket over these next couple of days. But for today, we have 2 of our 3 slots locked in, and it's this Org's first time in the league, so that's fun too.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a normal promo, we'd be done.
True.
We'd be over. But there is still that one spot on the line, and both AMI and Polestar will have to lick their wounds and try to get back into it in that lower bracket there. Some tough competition going to be there as well, but we take a look back at this game, and there were some really good moments from AMI. There were some really come around moments, but their composition was just working out so beautifully.
Yeah, and I think Baz, on an Ezreal pick that's usually pretty comfortable for him, was able to do a lot of work this game. You have Devi Shen diving in, and he was putting out a lot of damage. I bet if we look at the stats, he's up there. But at the end of it, I think Kenvi really started to turn up with those keeper verdicts, and these later game team fights, he did such a good job at breaking them up, removing key players from the equation to the point where even when they came back, there was no impact they could have.
It's tough as well because AMI has shown some brightness in a lot of their moments in the NACL, but here, unfortunately, not able to get the ground underneath them, and CTG were just a rampaging force. It felt like Diamond, man. The last engage, but a ton of the other decision-making that you could literally feel and see the leadership this guy provides to the team.
Yeah, that's right, and I think it's been probably maybe the missing piece, because of course the Citadel roster were not able to actually qualify earlier on this year into Split 1, but better late than never. This is the split that everybody is looking at, Mazel, because of the opportunity to promote into the LTA North, fighting Disguise Gaming for that spot. You said it, a lot of weight and pressure there on that spot because so many people in this league are going to be looking to take it.
And there's a ton you can say about the way that CTG have qualified, the way that Dorado have qualified, and kind of the strength that we saw from them. But I got to say, I'm so no shade whatsoever to Polestar AMI, but I'm so happy to see some of the faces that we know deserve to be in the Tier 2 scene, back in the Tier 2 scene in NACL with the likes of the team of Citadel and Dorado. And I know the league itself will just be a better place in terms of having a lot of these guys back in it. So I know it means a lot to the players itself, but it means a lot to the league.
It does. It's always great to see new faces as well, even if it's
Yep.
new orgs. Not all the players, of course, who have qualified so far are new. We've seen them in the league before. But that is what is exciting about the promo tournament as well. Just the fact that spots can change, orgs can change, players can change.
Yeah, and we do have that final update. I know I got excited about it in the game itself, but it is official. Dorado Gaming have qualified to NACL, and Polestar will see themselves in the lower bracket with a 3-0 win for Dorado Gaming.
That's right, and there you go. So our lower bracket matches have been set up as well. Tomorrow we do have 2 best-of-3s leading into the final best-of-5 on Sunday for that last spot. Like you said, under normal circumstances, today would be done. But because we have a 3rd spot to play for, there is one more chance for these teams that lost today.
Yep, and I believe it will be AMI facing off against Jolly Rogers, and then Polestar facing off against Cupid. If everything works out how the bracket works out. But we don't know exactly. Well, I'm sure we'll get a check up on that at the very end of the day. But
exactly.
In the end, it was a triumphant occasion for CTG across the board. I don't think there was a single player that had really any bad moments, besides maybe some overextensions here or there. But it really is like a level up from the whole team. Because typically you could be like, oh, this 1 or 2 people really carried the entire series. But I think this was a holistic team effort, and it shows off a lot of the effort they've been putting in behind the scenes. Because this team was sad, right? Like distraught from not making it last split. And I think rightfully so. They should have made it. And, you got to win when it matters most, and they weren't able to. And I know making it back there, making it back to this position, but then making good on that means a lot to the organization, but also the players playing.
For sure. I mean, the drive is definitely there as well. They took that loss and they worked at it the entire split to be able to make it to this point and not only qualify Bazel, but qualify very dominantly. Yeah, Game 3 was kind of close, but overall, Games 1 and 2 weren't. They've smoked everybody they've played so far in the qualifiers, and they're looking like they want to make a hell of a run in Split 2.
The only undefeated team in the qualifiers, 5-0 in games, at least. And really incredible to see from CTG. And it's going to be fun to see them in NACL themselves. If you missed any of that action or want to stay up to date on what's happened so far in the promos, make sure you check out our socials there, hovering in the top left. You can check out some clips, tag your thoughts on exactly what you think about what's going on and exactly what you're excited about to see from CTG and Dorado Gaming in the NACL next split when at the very end of the year, there's an LTA spot on the line. We're finally back to the good promo relegations.
I know that's the most exciting thing I think that we've been thinking about all of 2025. Just that opportunity to win your way back. I think a lot of people, a lot of people in the community will talk about it, how it used to be a thing back in Challenger Series. And they're like, oh, I missed that. Franchising not as exciting for them. So now the fact that they can kind of do a little bit of both in the LTA North, I think it's gotten people excited. It's gotten players excited. It's gotten fans excited just to see who's going to be able to win that spot for next year.
Yeah, a lot online, but you still got a whole split to get through, and that's a lot of competitive matches to get to play, which I know these teams will be very grateful for. And it just provides that next level of kind of competition and stuff to continue growing off of, because that mindset does not stop even when you make it to Tier 2, because the ultimate goal is making it to Tier 1. Hopefully we'll be getting into our interview here shortly with somebody from CTG, but until then, you're stuck with us yapping about how good they look.
Yeah, and it was pretty damn good, Lennon. It was pretty
Who was, if you had to choose one out of the golden idols,
you were gonna ask.
If you had to choose one, who,
I'm just gonna give it to Ken. I'm just gonna give it to Ken B.
All right, that's my choice too.
I thought so. We're synced
Dude,
up.
The guy literally ran the series.
He kind of cooked, especially game 1 and 2.
Man. Yeah. And it goes. I love me a good story, right? I love seeing kind of the payoffs on people's personal ambitions and things like that. And I know that time in LCS, Kenby was not happy about it, and I'm really happy to see him start making good on that. And another one of my favorites from CTG, we actually get to talk to. I get to meet back up with him. We got our interview ready, and it's none other than Bradley in the mid lane for Citadel Gaming. My friend, my 2-chain brother, how you doing? You're back in NACL. You've made it back. You made good on faltering last qualifiers. Does this feel like it needed to happen, or does it actually feel triumphant for you?
Diamond kind of talked about it earlier in his other interview. I don't think it feels necessarily overly triumphant, because although we are taking things one step at a time, we do kind of expect this for ourselves. So it does in a way feel like, kind of overly due, but we are still happy, right?
Yeah. I like it.
I gotta ask, it must have been a tough loss for you during the first qualifier to lose to Tempest and not qualify. So from then to now, what did it take for you guys to get to this level where now you just beat everyone, undefeated? You guys didn't drop a game, and I just wanted you to give you a chance to talk about the work you guys did.
I think, obviously, situation kind of sucked. We had time to reflect on, the things that we need to work on, and to be honest, it might sound like a little cope, but we can feel at least fine knowing that we lost our spots to people that did really good and
made a run.
Right? Yeah, they made a really good run, right? I think they weren't as bad of a team as initially people thought, right? Even though they might have not have necessarily strong players on paper, I think when I played against them, I knew this team's actually not that bad. So props to them, right? But regardless, for us, what that meant was taking more time to kind of figure things out. And I think we all knew we should have had it. But, on the day, things can happen, and that's fine, right? But, just again, more time to work together, more time to get a little bit more alignment, play more solo queue, things like that.
Yeah. I like that mindset, at least, though, knowing what happened and kind of using that a little bit more. I got to ask you, though, Bradley, personally, what's going to be different this time, man? What are you bringing to the table in NACL? You're back where it feels like you belong in a way. I mean, obviously LTA in sights, but is there going to be something, a different mindset you're bringing to the table, a different feel? Do you have anything to say about that entrance back into the league?
Yeah, so I think for myself and a team play included, I think even in our series today, I think me and Ken didn't play 2v2 that well even. And I'm sure if you talk to him, he might admit that as well. But even though, in my opinion, I don't even think we played the 2v2 well, we still 3-0'd pretty easily, right? Yeah. So I think that can just go to show that given more time going into the league, me and Ken are clearing things up and, just getting better day after day, on our synergy and stuff. If we're 3-0ing a team today like this, imagine what it will look like when me and Ken are on top form. So for me, going back into the league, it's very happy. I think what I'm working on, I heard a podcast that I'm not a dominant laner anymore.
Oh,
I'm gonna
who said
have to
that?
Be,
That's
so I'm gonna have to be working on my laning phase. So I hope to be.
Dude,
Actually,
Hawk can't stop
actually-
taking shots, man.
Oh, that's what I'm. Okay, I
Yeah.
understand now. I understand now.
even though
Oh.
actually today I think my lane phase was like it could have been better. Unironically, like
Mm.
unironically, today I think my lane phase could have been a little bit better. But yeah, so I'll be working on that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to ask you, kind of on that note. Now you played top lane for a little while, a couple of years now. Now you have returned to mid lane. It's been about a year since then. How's that transition back been for you so far? Do you feel like you're playing at that level you were at before you switched for TLA?
I think, unironically, I feel like even though I had a lot of hype on me back then as a top laner, I feel like I'm playing better. I think the experience that I've had in multiple roles like that really helped me develop as a player. And I think when I was playing top lane, I was able to get away with knowing less about the game because it was kind of an island. But now that I'm back in mid and I'm playing in a professional setting like that, you really do have to know a lot more. And that's not like me calling shots at like top laners,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like my experience, right? So I think overall it helped me develop more as a player. And then where I am now, obviously it helps me have a larger champion variety. And you know, hopefully you guys get to see that in NACL, right? Maybe some Scion.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it, man. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward
Yeah,
to it.
so yeah.
All right, Bradley, give me a spiel. Talk to me, man. Give me a shout out. Give anybody you want to talk about, anything you want to say going into NACL after you and Citadel Gaming have qualified to be there in Split 2.
Okay, we'll start with shout outs. I first want to shout out my family and specifically my mom. She has always
Absolutely.
been the person to support me the most, and she's actually going through a pretty hard time at the moment.
I wish her well, man.
So yeah, she's doing fine. She's going through something, you know, kind of like family and stuff like that. So, kind of want to give her my love and support. Same with like my brothers. They're watching it too. My brother's friend, a lot of my friends, even outside of my family, right? A lot of my friends are watching me play. So I do have like a lot of support too. And then also on that topic, shout out to the guys in Twitch chat that like root for us too. Like you guys are the MVPs. I always try to say this in an interview, but I know when I was a professional player for the first time back in like 2022 on TLA, I used to go back and I would watch the VOD and I got to see all like the nice Twitch chats, like if I made a good play, things like that. And I know like, you know, I might still be a veteran, but things like that I think is really nice for the community. So shout out to you guys for the people who do that. And then the casters as well. And then my teammates and my org. A lot of people to shout out, but yeah.
This is your stage to do it, man. Do you have anything,
yeah.
any words of wisdom, anything going into ACL? One last final message.
Words of wisdom. Final message. I'm back.
Let's go, baby. That's all we
I
needed
love
to
it.
hear. Bradley, it is a pleasure, and I cannot wait to get to talk to you more when you're back in NACL. We'll see you there, bud.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to take it back from him, and congratulations once again to Citadel Gaming and
Yeah.
Dorado for making it into NACL. And what a day it was. You know, two best of fives going on at the same time, and both ended up at 3-0s. Pretty dominant fashion for all three of them for both sides as well. And maybe we're just set for that next era of NACL.
Yeah, we very well could be. He said it himself, Lennon. He's back.
He's back,
and
baby.
It's going to be really exciting to see what this Citadel roster are going to be able to do.
Yeah, it truly is. I believe next we're going to be getting to our MVP of the series here
Oh, that's
shortly.
right,
and
yeah.
hopefully we'll be getting to that here shortly. See who that is going to be.
Here
Drum
comes.
roll. Who got the MVP to make it into NACL? We'll find out. Here we go. It's Diamond!
Diamond!
Oh, and the
Okay,
final
low-key.
engage too. Oh, that's
Yeah.
dirty.
That's a great clip to show. I think he had a lot of great engages this series. He especially had great ones this game. This was not his only 4 or 5-man Magnet Storm in Game 3, and he's been playing really well.
Mount up and ride on, homie. That's all you really need. It's just not only this play, but there was the play in bot lane in the 2v2 where he kind of flashed Qs after baiting in. Poker.
Yeah.
We get a better version of or at least a higher angle version of this one, and Diamond pulls the trigger, man. There were so many moments like that in the series between him and Kenvi. Just all of us, you think there's a line of scrimmage. You think, everybody's waiting for the moment, and then they decide that the moment is now. I think that's super needed, and that kind of killer instinct is absolutely something that the Tier 2 team should be looking for.
Yeah, decisiveness really is the name of the game in Tier 2. So they've shown that. Diamond's been a great addition to this team in Citadel Gaming to be able to show us that. And that's why you see him win MVP there. Really, congrats to him. Congrats to Citadel. And, of course, congrats to Dorado, the other side. That's going to be a fun VOD that I'm going to be watching later tonight because, Lennon, we're on tomorrow.
Yeah, we're back tomorrow for some more fun and more high-stakes action. But I think we're going to have the bracket here to take a look at, that lower bracket that we do have and look at the qualifications that we have already had. As you see, the top of your screen, Citadel, Dorado Gaming have qualified to NACL split number 2, still in the running. Our Apex Mission Impossible, Pulse Star, Jolly Rogers, and Cupid Esports.
That's right, and now there is no more second chances. That's the lower bracket, guys. So they are fighting for their tournament lives, and all 4 of these teams are fighting for only one single spot remaining there at the end of that bottom side of the bracket. So a lot of high stakes tomorrow and Sunday. We're not done yet, Lennon.
We are not done yet. Still 2 days left, and tomorrow 2 best of 3s to decide who moves on and who will face each other. Starting off with that AMI Jolly Rogers match, then moving on to Cupid Esports versus Polestar.
And that's right, really exciting stuff there in that lower bracket. I'm really interested to see who's going to win that final spot in the end, because now, we already saw today, guaranteed 2 new teams because they've already qualified. Now we only have the chance for one of our previous teams to return, or maybe we'll just get all 3 being new ones. Who knows?
Could be crazy. There's a higher percentage chance of that. It's about 50-50, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's absolutely crazy to kind of think of the way that it's come down and think of the potential changing of the guard in an ACL for that split number 2. I got to say, Polestar and AMI, they're going to have to figure out how to turn around really quickly. Literally tomorrow is your final series potentially, and a lot on the line for both those orgs that spent a lot of time in the NACL in split number 1 trying to garner some experience. But that is it from us, Beatdown, and I got to say, tomorrow's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be right back at the same time, same place for some elimination matches in NACL Split 2 promotion tournament. We'll see you there. Horn is coming back up, but it would be very hard to find an angle into this one. And Ace in the hole just going to take half of Pocus's health ahead of the dragon spawn. Thornhorn, that's desperate. Not going to find it. Oh, and it.
Oh my God!
Oh, Diamond! That final spark with the final effort from AMI. Lojaz is getting burned down now. Kenby getting a little bit low. Decoy started it all off, and we'll just die in the end. The bubble connects, but Lojaz dies before he.
It looks like it'll probably be a smite fight, but watch the forts trying to go for the back.
Oh, the blast cone used Decoy's out of the fight right now. He's trying to get an angle here. It's Paranoid. They pop. They go.
There it is.
Double knock up into the double knock up. It's a 2 for 2, but it's still fighting. Now in the pit, the dragon's getting low. Kenby versus Lojaz. It's going to go Lojaz's way. He stops the stacking, but now CTG have their eyes honed in on him. They're going to try to take him down. He's tanky, but not tanky enough. Diamond going to miss his grand entrance, but Kenby follows it up, and a 2-fer comes through for Bradley as it connects yet again. 5 minutes will be